What's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. Girl, y'all already know what we're here to get into as the saga continues. Before we get into it, I want you guys to go ahead and thumbs up this video. Thumbing up not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, it helps with YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their arses into the sanctuary, because the king is in fact king. And thumbing up don't cost you nothing, baby. It's $3.99, honey. Y'all also know that we're working, honey. We are working. So if you love the king and you support the platform and you are enjoying all of the content, then make sure that you guys show some love on that Cash App at $Consciouztv, spelled just how it is right here on the platform, and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. Okay. Shout out to all of the new subbies. Make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Instagram, your Insta story, your MySpace, your Facebook, your Snapchat, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just the more know that we're alive, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, you guys, happy Thursday. Now, I do have a special guest here with me today, and we'll probably also be dropping the link at some point, okay, because there's a lot going on as usual. Before we get into tonight's content, let me go ahead and speak to my old nasty Conscious Crew member, Gria. What's going on, Emily? What's going on, Nurse Moonshine, baby? Love you too, love. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Terrence. Hey, Rumors and Tea. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Coach Leslie. What's going on, Tasmania? What's going on, Food Axe Butt? Hey, what's going on? Hey, Kiwana. Hey, BNG. What's going on, Food Expert? Hey, Keeney. What's going on, Joyce? What's going on, Lorraine? Hey, the Tea Lounge. Hey, Boo. What's going on, you guys? Hey, Candace. Okay, so I want to open up with a little bit of a disclaimer before we move any further. Okay, now you guys know everybody on YouTube has their fan base. You know, we all have a cult-like following to some degree, girl. So, of course, you know, horse face Wiggins, bikini bottom EBT food cart swiping ass, busted down ass fans came over here, girl. Just a few of them, girl. They were very upset. They were very traumatized, girl. Okay, that I was talking about their cult leader, girl. Okay, and I just want to tell them bikini bottom ass fans that it don't matter what y'all say. I don't care how many times y'all tell me that I'm jealous of an unemployed bitch who's on his fourth mentor, girl. Okay? I don't care how and what type of tactics you guys try to use to dissuade me from reporting on him. You know, I'm going to report on him the way that he reports on Cardi B, the way that he reports on Unhinged with Budweiser K, the way that he reports on Nicki Minaj, the way that he reports on JT, the way that he reports on all the people who don't want his ass talking about their ass, okay? All the black women who he drive goddamn crazy talking about over there, baby, I'm going to be talking about his ass just the same. So anytime I get good and damn ready for any damn reason at all, baby, that I feel compelled, that I see something that I want to address, that I see something that I want to regulate, that I want to see something that I want to pour into, speak to, unpack, dismantle, girl, decolonize, that's what the hell I'm going to do. It ain't a goddamn thing that none of you can do about it, baby. So if you don't like it, if you're scared, bitch, go to church, pray about it, talk to your bestie, okay? Go find some damn comment sections, find some anti-CTV space, girl, to get your rocks off, because over here, bitch, I'm going to proceed to give you what, in fact, you do need. Oh, all right. Yes, I checked one of them on IG. Oh, yeah, on period, honey. A moonshine was windmilling down, girl. Like, if you so pressed, why is you here, girl? Okay, ain't nobody asked you to come over here, bikini bottom. Ain't nobody asked you to come over here, Squidward. Like, why is you here, girl? If you're so pressed about CTV just doing his job the same way that y'all say that Horseface be doing his job. Ain't Horseface get paid to run his mouth and to be all up in people's business and to have all type of unsolicited ass opinions and things? Ain't that's what he do? Oh, okay. I'm just keeping the same energy, baby. Just like he, baby, we get paid to do this, honey. And if he didn't want to be talked about, then he shouldn't have been a public figure. So as long as he want to get his public figure on, I'm going to give some very much so public commentary on the things that transpire publicly. Okay. Now, with that already out of the way, let's go ahead. What's going on, Charity? And bring up my special guest, okay? Conscious crew member, Maddie Mob, Funky Bunch. Okay, this is a multi-pussy popper here, baby. What's going on, Jonathan?
Oh, like I said, y'all, don't eat me up in these comments. I am just a spectator, and I ain't nobody, and these are my opinions.
That's it, baby. Okay.
And
matter of fact, so much of his opinions, honey, that when he do fuck up, honey, I want y'all to drag him, okay? Because the statements and the comments expressed here on CTV platform by any relevant guest, baby, is theirs alone. So chew his ass up on his, and leave me out of it. Shit. I don't think you go. You always do well though when you up in the commentary space. You know, you always make the crew happy with your.
I try, and really, I just try to be funny. I really do, because that's what it's all about. It's all about giving people something to laugh about.
That's it.
Because this world is just a sad place sometimes, and it's crazy right now.
It is. And we're just trying to take the edge off, have a little fun, you know, just do us. What's going on, HHO podcast? Hey, boo. Hey, Pretty Brown. Hey, Lady Butterfly. Okay, so let's get into some things, Shy, because, you know, the Funky himself, in fact, did a response video to the very much so red cup, white fingernail meltdown of Wendy Wiggins, Shy. You know, a lot of people were speculating, you know, was Funky going to respond back? Some people were encouraging him not to, girl. He proved you right, child. You know, obviously, them bullets that you sent touched and agreed with Wiggins' soul, girl. So, you know, it landed, honey. It did what it was supposed to do. But so he did, in fact, respond. But I want to go back a little bit with you because, you know, a lot has transpired. And, you know, I haven't heard your commentary on the beginnings of the beginnings of the beginnings. I know you also have not watched the Carlos King interview per se, but I'm sure that you have, you know, heard little peripheral stuff. Yeah.
I caught a clip. And I heard Funky's commentary a little bit on the interview and how, you know, he was very impressed with how it was edited and how he felt like the focus was not really on the TeaGIF stuff. And they had plenty of other stuff to talk about besides that. And it wasn't just micro focused on that particular piece.
Yes.
Where to begin? Well, so like I mentioned,
if you need me to fill you in on some stuff too, you know, like you just let me know because you know I had watched the whole TGIF segment.
I mean, you could give me a little rundown. I mean, we was all give me a little cliff notes on the interview if you want to. But like,
well, in a nutshell, Funky basically said, you know, I do feel like Wendy Wiggins is a talented. You know, he and I, you know, have a loose association. We're not friends, you know. We're not friends at all. We are, you know, acquaintances. You know, he interviewed me one time before, and then when, you know, he was up for the job, I had gave Wendy Wiggins the play-by-play. I gave him the official do's and don'ts, and then I gave him the unofficial do's and don'ts. Like, this is the bitch you need to stay away from. Don't trust that hoe. Don't talk to that hoe. Don't do this. Don't do that. He said, you know, I really mapped out the land and the terrain for him so that he could have a much smoother experience with his time there than I had there.
I caught that from last night.
So he said, you know, I really was disappointed.
Rewatched all the response before I came on here with you.
Yes. And so he went on to say, you know, I'm disappointed. You know, I'm disappointed at the way he handled himself, the way he governed himself. He was, you know, he said, you know, as talented as he believes that Wendy Wiggins is, that it's also equally true that Wendy Wiggins needs to grow the hell up, that there is a maturity problem for sure, hands down.
And I concur, because I am 37, basically the same age as Miss Wig. And the way he be cutting up and acting up online, he is too goddamn old to be doing that.
Yeah.
And I agree with Dineva, because Dineva really ain't been acting like that since he was like almost 10 years younger than that. 26-year-old Dineva was cutting up like that, but 36-year-old Dineva don't really cut up like that.
So he went. So he went on to continue to say that because Carlos eventually had asked him, you know, well, what do you think about the roast? And he said, I thought the roast was gross. I thought it was unprofessional. It was distasteful. It was classless. It was ugly. It was so rude and so nasty and so nasty and so rude. And then he went on to say, you know, in what world? Because he said, you know, basically the difference between me and him is that when I cut up, I was out the door already. My pink slip had already been submitted. I didn't have to see these people in 3 days. I didn't have to see them again next week. So he said, in what world do you detail this type of roast that is calling somebody out for being fake, for being phony? Because you're making now statements about this person's character. You're making indictments against somebody that you have to work with, somebody that you have to have chemistry with on a panel show. You're calling them out about their character, and you're putting those things on Front Street. In what world is that conducive for a job you still have to be at with a person you still have to have some reasonable chemistry with in the aftermath? Like he just said, you know, it's
like that's like me cussing out my boss and turning them every which way except loose, and then coming in on Monday morning like didn't that like nothing happened.
Yeah. You know, even a coworker, you know, somebody that you have to really work very intimately with, you know, how is putting them on Front Street and publicly embarrassing them and calling them out about things that you probably should have called them out about.
Nobody's business but theirs.
Right. Like, how is that going to work when y'all have to return back to work? You know, y'all going to be working easy together. Right. What did you think was going to happen?
What in that, alcohol afflicted mind did he think was gonna happen when he went so low that even Claudia's facial expressions
yikes
didn't signal him to stop? And in the words of T.S. Madison, abort.
Yes. Cut off, commercial break.
Like,
somebody pull the damn fire alarm, honey. Yeah.
Where is the hook? Pull the curtain.
And somebody do a fake bomb threat, girl. Let's evacuate. Somebody tear it up. It was interesting, and I think that was very much so fair assessment. It was a very fair assessment, and people can disagree and say Funky's not in a position to be giving those kind of critiques to him. He's not the right message, wrong messenger, broken clock, right 2 times a day, etc., etc. But it does not invalidate that statement, right?
Because guess what? Armon going crazy last night kind of proved everybody's point. Did it not?
So let's get into that. Tell me what you thought about Wendy Wiggins' response. Like, based upon the part that you saw, the degree of it in which you saw, what was your thoughts about what you saw in his response to Funky?
I mean, it was given very much so unhinged, given very much so emotional, given very much so like he just being used and abused and taken advantage of by everybody, according to him, but except Claudia, when it was convenient. Everybody just used and abused him and used him as a pawn and didn't pay him no money and, was just holding that fake AK up to his temple, telling him to get on that damn live every other day and say these real mean and nasty things about people when he could have just kept it cute.
Could have kept it cute. Because here's my thing, Jonathan. It's funny to me that, because see, this is why Wendy Wiggins doesn't have no excuse. Because Claudia been there for 4 years and she been dealing with this bullshit for way longer than he ever has in his 3-year probational trial period of being there. And if she still, with everything that she was feeling, everything she was going through behind the scenes, still was able to once again be professional and know how to show up and do her job despite can't stand Al and is completely just whatever as it relates to him. And then yet when it came to his birthday rose, she kept it light. She knew it was unprofessional. She knew that it would be unbecoming, and she knew that it would just only inflame already sensitive dynamics amongst the cast. So she kept it cute on Rose Day. So how much more was Wendy supposed to read the room like, girl, you being upset at him regardless of what's going on corporately in HR, what's going on in the background? Like, did you still find it professional to wrap all of that up into a gag and a roast of that nature? Everybody else knew not to do it. Claudia knew that like common sense told her this ain't gonna help. Like if I sit up here and put him on blast on Front Street, it won't help.
Why would you poke the bear when the bear is already fixing to, bite your hand off? The logic don't logic.
The math ain't math, and bull.
And and like I said, I ain't never seen it from Miss Wig since he tried to jump out the window at Madison over not being invited to Thanksgiving of all things when they weren't even that close to begin with. And in my opinion, that man isn't even worthy of Miss Mary's 3-day leftovers, let alone a fresh cooked meal.
That part. No steam.
But I digress.
On period. Okay, so you basically felt like, okay, girl, he just corroborated what Funky Dineva called out: a lack of emotional maturity. Like, two things can be true at once. You can be talented and full of shit. You can be talented and need to grow the hell up. You can be talented
and not willing to listen to any constructive criticism.
Now, what do you think about Wiggins' claim that, girl, if you were trying to big brother me, if you were trying to great grandfather me, that you could have called me personally rather than me hearing about this in front of 100,000 ass people?
But again, like Funky said, we not friends like that. I gave you the courtesy of letting you know what you were walking into, whether it was one-sided or not, the entire picture. He gave him enough to know how not to do it, and he still chose to do it anyways. And at the end of the day, those were just his feelings. How many people in these YouTube streets check with every single person that they are acquainted with before they go and speak on them in an interview?
I do, but not many.
No, but even still, you are on a friendly enough level with them.
Yeah. To where you like if I have a relationship, for sure.
Dineva don't call. According to Dineva, they don't call and they don't kiki.
Yeah, like they're not friends. He didn't feel like he owed him that.
So in my opinion, he didn't owe you that. Now, where Armon needs to stop being a hypocrite is that's the same thing that happened with you and Madison. You was over here acting like she was your friend like that, but you didn't have a problem going on your platform and firing shots her way without even giving her the courtesy of a phone call and letting her know that you was hurt. Is my memory wrong?
It's not.
So
It's
it goes
not.
both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point. If I can't be mad at a person that don't consider me their friend. I can't take too much offense to somebody's opinion of me that is not considered a friend. Because there have been plenty of friends that have opinions about me, and it ain't bothered me one way or another.
So Caroline says that Funky should have kept his mouth shut and let things fall where they might. Things might not have gone left. I wouldn't have said ish to nobody. But that's the thing about the
world is full of what if.
Isn't Wendy Wiggins a commentator? He commentates. Like, why is it that other people have to afford him? Because he told me the same thing how me and her first got into even peripheral of each other is when one of his fans got upset at him for being very anti-black, and she hit me up and said, "Can you drag this dude?" I didn't know who the dude was at the time. So then once I went over there, I was like, oh, okay, like I ain't really feeling him. I ain't even do the commentary. Fast forward, he fell out with Madison, and I did public commentary, and of course I sided with Maddie because she is mother. Yeah, like because his low emotional range just bewildered me in terms of how he turned an invite she didn't know he needed because she reasonably assumed he probably wanted to be with his own damn family on Thanksgiving.
Right.
This becomes the
don't invite me to Thanksgiving unless they know that I ain't got nobody to go eat dinner with.
And then even if they do, it's just like on Thanksgiving, I'm not really thinking about you, boo, because we're not that close anyway. Like, you know, like we cool, we see each other like, hey and bye, like we know each other, you know, we talk on the phone, whatever. But you know, it wasn't given that I knew you was looking at me as mother, that you was looking for a stepmom, that you was looking for a foster care mom. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of how much Thanksgiving meant to you, girl. It's not like
might I add,
food drives.
And might I add, if they were that close,
and you keep talking, I gotta go pick up my food from the front porch.
That this all had happened. If they were like that, wouldn't she have asked him to come sit on the show?
I need you to keep talking. I'm gonna go get my food from the front porch.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. But you know, as I was saying, you know, I don't know. This whole situation is just so sad. But I give my flowers to Funky for responding in such a nice way, and even admitting, you know, to Miss Wig, you know, you did your big one. You read me down to the floor. It still don't change the opinion that, you know, you need to get a little bit more maturity, and you need to hear some of the feedback that those that have come before you are trying to give you in order for you to elevate yourself in your career. Am I wrong, friends? Am I wrong? People out here watching.
Even though I missed what you said, I'm going to assume you're all the way right.
Oh, I said I give Funky his flowers for, you know, for saying, you know, that Armon read him down. He did his big one. Props to you. But it still don't change the fact that you're just proving my point.
We're gonna get into that. Yeah.
But, you know, but why? I think that is kind of fun. I think that is kind of funny because I remember that read that you did on Armon, because I was watching you back in those days, and I used to live for the voice altered videos.
That's when I was on it.
That high voice would come on, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to have a good laugh and a good day." Same.
So this is why I had brought that up, because when, like, going back to the T.S. Madison thing, like, or going back to this idea that Wendy Wiggins expects everybody to reach out to him, but he don't have to reach out to nobody when he goes to do whatever it is he does. Because when we finally did get an opportunity to speak and to have an intimate conversation, he told me, he was like, yeah, I felt the way about you siding with Madison because I felt like you didn't reach out to me from my side when you did your commentary on the situation. And my response to him was, well, I felt like there was nothing to ask you because you had been putting your side out over and over and over and over and over again. So there was nothing that I needed to personally come and ask you about, because I mean, you pretty much were kind of laying out your plight, you know.
Right. Was there no missing context to his side?
Right.
Did
like,
he have more information to add to it?
Yeah, I'm just like, I didn't assume that there was nothing more to ask you about. Like, you know, you were going in on this.
Were y'all even friendly enough to even bother?
We didn't even know each other. I was just a commentator.
Well, what the hell is he talking about then? What kind of bitch go ask somebody they don't know that they about to sit here and have some commentary and have an opinion on some shit that they said publicly? Make it make sense.
I was so bewildered, Jonathan. I was so bewildered.
I mean, like, you know, who said that?
Like, girl, right. Like, you putting it all out there on Front Street. I'm just giving commentary on what you're putting out there on Front Street. I don't know you enough to feel like I need to ask you anything. And I didn't feel like there was anything else I needed to personally know before I gave my perspective on the situation. But yet you expected me to reach out to you. And literally was like, admitted he was bent out of shape and that he really just felt the way, because I'm just like, and that moment when we are corresponding, I'm thinking to myself, this has nothing to do with whether I reached out to you or not. I didn't know you. We didn't have no relationship, and it wasn't necessary because you had already put it all out there. But I'm thinking in my head that this is not about reaching out. This is about the fact that you don't agree. Had I gave a commentary that was in your favor, you would be sitting here satisfied. You wouldn't be sitting here saying, well, you didn't reach out to me and you didn't
Like, part of what's wrong with him at the age that he is now. You want people in your life that are not going to constantly uphold you in your bullshit. You want a friend that is going to sit there and tap you on your shoulder and say, you know, friend, you're wrong on this one. You're off the mark. This ain't it. You need to pull back, calm down, slow down, take a breath. I don't rock with you on this one. And I don't think Armon is ever going, Miss Wig is ever going to elevate to the space that he probably has the potential to go until he stops seeking validation from everyone that is in his life.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely
you're not going to keep people around you if their presence is solely based on them agreeing with every single thing that you say and do.
Right.
And me only being a year older than him, he should know that and understand that at this time in his life.
Mm-hmm. After having that conversation with him, I was definitely like intellectually stumped. You know, I was just like so confused. You know, my emotional intelligence was confused. You know, I was like, what? But I just ended up kind of giving him a little one too, like, okay, girl, like if it's water under the bridge. If if something ever comes up again, I would definitely reach out, blah 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 blah. But I was definitely personally like, she's very emotionally undeveloped. Like she definitely suffers from like a Peter Pan syndrome. Like your
spirit was telling you something's not right.
Yeah, it was giving very much so Peter Pan, a Neverland Ranch. It was definitely giving like a Michael Jackson trauma. And I was just like, okay, I'm not.
Now he don't want to. Now he don't want to grow up.
He don't want to grow up.
I'll be the first one to admit I hate getting older. I wish I was still a kid or whatever. But I still am mature enough to know that actions have consequences, and you just can't go out here acting reckless and not thinking that somebody's gonna have something to say about it at some point. And you also can't be making comments online and expecting no one to clap back at you every once in a while.
Right. So even in And excuse me, y'all. I ain't ate all damn stuff in my face.
I mean, shoot, you was up on your vampire hours last night. Like I told you, I went to sleep and woke up twice, and y'all was still going.
This is a reaction video / subtle mukbang. Mm-hmm. So so even in the underbelly of his response to Funky, it was given like, girl, I thought we were friends. Like this, he has a habit of thinking that he has entered into friendship with people that barely know him.
But again,
like, this is the gag, Jay. Like, this is the gag, Jonathan. His roast to Al was about how Al is a poser and has allegedly all these celebrity friends, but none of the celebrity friends know that they're friends with Al, and he is literally in the same boat, girl. It's like,
so the delusional leading the delusional.
Mm-hmm. It's taking one to know one. It was given familiar spirit. Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, like I said, just because somebody is your friend does not mean that they're not going to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And try to better you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. I could play a little bit of devil's advocate and give Miss Wig all her rights to feel in some type of way if Dineva had went on that Carlos King interview and just read him down like the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
Just went in and let have and just being real nasty nice about it. So nasty, so rude and all that. But that's not what he did. He said he thought he was talented.
Yep.
He said he thought he was going to go places, but he really needed to learn the ins and he needed to learn what not to do in these situations. And he was trying to tell him from his own places of experience for the things that got him in trouble back in the day. Because toward the end of that 20-minute segment at the beginning of his live tonight, he retold the story about his own personal failings when it came to his own lack of maturity in, Miss Gary Coleman's reading Into the Grave. And I remember that, as my young self. I remember when he went off on her in that video. And when I tell you, he read her straight into the grave and sealed the earth over it. And according to him, that lost him a lot of opportunities. So what I hope Miss Wiggins,
from a place of wisdom. He saw a part of himself in Wendy Wiggins. He knows what it's like to be there.
Right.
And even though he still got some work to do and he's doing that work, he felt it appropriate to be like, hey bro, I done been there. And you just have to stop walking around with that level of chip on your shoulder, especially when you are self-reportedly not even where it is you really want to be. And it's going to make it very difficult for you to get there from this energy, from this misalignment.
And what does Dineva always tell people? He always says, in order to work in this kind of an industry, you have to be somewhat likable some of the time. You can't just go around going in on everybody.
Right.
And I think he even had to learn that for himself, because if you have anyone who's followed Funky Dineva's career has seen where he made that mindful shift of just going in on people and letting people have it and constantly being, that aggressive type when it comes to his commentary, because he wanted to keep working and he wanted to elevate his career. Right. It's the same thing with Madison. Madison don't always like having to go in on a bitch and let them know. There are times where she has to keep it cute.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
But remember, Jay, that there's a big difference between Maddie and Funky and Wendy Wiggins. Is that Maddie and Funky are self-made and they have crossed the threshold. They're not sitting here in the back of the line still claiming, you know, oh, there's so much, you know, that I want, you know, like these people are very financially stable. They are making a very lucrative living off of what they're doing. Funky expressed in a college interview that he's comfortable, you know, he's where he wants to be. He's sitting in the space of his career that he wants to be in. He's making money that he's comfortable with. You know, he's content versus Wendy Wiggins, who is still like, there's so much I'm trying to do and still trying to be the Beyonce.
Right. He out here, you know, drunk, mad, and just screaming, it should have been me.
And getting beat up at Free Zeus Network events.
Right. Like
at Zeus Network events, girl.
Like, girl, if you want to go be on Zeus Network, go be on Zeus Network. From what I see, they hire anybody.
And apparently they don't want him either. Word on the curb is.
Now that's sad. That is a shame and a disgrace. For you to be that unlikable that you can't even get hired over at Zeus.
That you can't even align with the disgraceful. Girl, you don't. So you tried this. Okay.
But because quiet as is kept, and you could correct me if I'm wrong in my theory. I'm pretty sure Zeus would hire, you know, Miss Unhinged. And if they not, and so how crazy do you have to be for them not to want to hire you? When I think
and they hired Jason Lee instead. he got Zeus Network in a chokehold.
Well, you know what? Good for Mr. Compton Unlocked. Good for him. You know, I'm back and forth on the days that I choose.
Yes, it's a very it's complicated.
I mean, but I, you know, and like I said, the first thing that really kind of turned me off about Armon was just the overuse of that shotgun button.
Yeah.
All of his commentary, because that's as bad to me as Kaya constantly banging that damn gavel every 3 words.
It's a
the
new
gag
toy.
only works on subtle nuances, not every 5 seconds.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Shauna.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
It's going great, and we are going to be reviewing Funky's commentary tonight as well. But you were trying to get up here to speak, girl. So what's going on?
Oh well, it was about Funky's commentary, but part of it. Well, first of all, reading comments, I was cracking up at these people in your comments from the 6 Hour Live, and people were like, 6 Hour Live, blah blah blah. I was like, honey, that's a lunch. That's a lunch hour.
Right.
You know, that's lunchtime. I mean, back in the day, 12 hours back to back. I mean, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, you're new. So I don't know if you noticed, I was swinging and banging in them comments. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll fall for it. I don't mind.
About it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll fall for it. But
y'all windmilling.
yeah, I like windmilling. Sure will. I'm like, you a dummy. Don't be dumb. Anyway, dumb is being dumb is worse.
That's
so I hear on different platforms, people are like, dang, when is Wendy Wiggins gonna learn his lesson? And I'm just like, well, just like what happens to all of us, if you're aware of situations that are occurring, and the fact that with certain situations, you're like, oh my God, I've already experienced this. Well, that means you probably didn't learn the first time. So he's going to keep on going. It's going to continue because he's falling for the okie doke or the trap or the banana in the tailpipe. He's falling for it. And going back to, I listened to all 6 hours and it was great. I was doing my homework and it was fantastic. And that's another funny part, people trying to be insulting about the 6 Hour Live. It's like, it was only a blip about Mr. Wiggins. The rest was so so informative, so spiritually uplifting. I'm like, you dodos.
In conversation, it can start on one subject, we can head off into something else completely in the universe.
Right.
But people don't know how to have a conversation, and that's the thing, and that's what I love conversations. That it starts out one way, and then conversing and hearing people's experiences, and then I loved it. I'm like, damn, I wish I had so many things to say, but of course it was a replay, so I couldn't. But so I was like, damn, I wish I tried to stay awake last night, and it wasn't happening. It was I really enjoyed that whole live. I listened to it top to bottom. What's that?
I said I'm glad that you enjoy it, because
even on the replay, because you don't ever think, oh, I'm not gonna listen to no 6 hour live. Yes, there's plenty of us who do. There is plenty of us. Whether what's that?
CTV, you helped me to get through my work shift.
Yes,
I love these long lives.
Exactly.
So short form content, and then I do content because I know that I have people who love to listen.
Yes.
When they're on their job, or when they, in the hospital. I got a college crew member who's
in the
hospital right now, and she loves these long lives. She loves the conversation. It keeps her engaged. So we do
and learning. I learn the best from people. Therefore, I don't have to actually have to experience the hurt and heartache that other people have gone through. I can learn about it, and then I can avoid it for myself. And I don't think people really realize you don't have to experience every tragedy on God's green earth to learn and to be able to progress and evolve. Sometimes you just need to listen to people talk, and I love listening to people talk and learning about where they've been, how they got through it, because you take those tidbits and you learn, so you don't have to take those same pitfalls. And that's Wendy Wiggins is not learning that. It's like tonight, Funky was talking. I like when you say Funky was talking, and he was saying, I was trying to help you out, brother. I mean, people do that whether you're friends or not. And I don't think he understands that either. We ain't got to be tight for me to give you a life lesson. I'm always trying to give a life lesson, but I'm also always trying to get a life lesson. So it's like he's so close, and we're all. One thing he needs to realize, his situation, whenever he's been in through, there's going to be somebody who's gone through worse, and there's people who've never gone through anything. We're all suffering just by living, but we're also being exposed to such wonderful things. It's like, let's exchange information and learn from each other and appreciate that, hey, these are especially someone who's in the same business as you, take heed. This is how it works. And these... be able to spot these pitfalls.
He's so desperate for a mentor, you would think that he would have.
That's what I'm saying. People are mentoring him, and he thinks that it needs to look a certain way. It doesn't. That's what I'm gathering. That's why he keeps going through all this. People are helping you, but you can't ask for help and then tell people how to help you. If somebody's like, how can I help you in which manner, and then I say, help me in this direction. But if I just say, I need help, and they're like, let me help you, I can do A, B, C, D, and G, I'm going to take that. I'm not going to say, I don't like A. I'll take a little bit of B, maybe some of C. I'm going to take it all. I'm going to take it all.
I'm going to tell you what the problem is, Shauna. When I listened to Wendy Wiggins' response video, all I heard through that whole diatribe was, you didn't protect my ego, Funky. You didn't protect my ego. You didn't protect my ego. You didn't protect my ego. Because that is what basically he was saying when he was like, you could have caught me with, is you didn't protect my ego. Why did you check me in front of everybody? Because you did the crime in front of everybody.
Right. True.
That part.
True that.
You can't commit a crime in public and then expect the trial to be in private.
Right. That's a good one. By the way, P.S. I love the Johnsons here. I'm glad you're back. I watched the live when we first got to lay eyes on you, and I love that. I want to make sure you know that.
Oh, thank you, Shauna.
So if you
like I said, I ain't nobody but just a spectator out here in these YouTuber streets.
That's okay.
You guys are amazing as supporters. We couldn't do this without y'all. So do you want to say up here, Shauna?
Yeah, because I need to say a couple things about if you're ready to go into funky.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
okay,
ready.
so first of all,
we gotta play it first. We gotta play
it.
Oh,
we're playing it first. Okay, go ahead.
Let's play this.
Yeah,
okay.
we gotta play it first.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Let me let me make sure I didn't delete. Did I delete the wrong shit? Oh no, it's right here. Okay, you guys. So this is Funky Dineva's response video that he did today to Wendy Wiggins, you guys. Okay, of course, this is covered by fair use. Let me put on my old nasty piece of fair use shade. Courtesy of the Funky Dineva platform. Okay, so listen to what Funky had to say in response to Trash Wiggins.
He does, but it what I saw in a part of his response was somebody who was hurting. What I think is unfortunate is you have two people, myself and Carlos King, who have the ability to garner a lot of attention in the urban pop culture space. And there are a lot of...
hold on real quick. Let me respond to Bernice Latrice. Okay, she sounds country bumpkin as hell. Nobody gives a damn about helping Wendy Wiggins. Let's be real. Y'all do not like his ass. Just listen to y'all. Well, I haven't minced any words. I definitely don't like her. I don't do her. Right. I don't want to know her. I don't want to help her.
I said I didn't like him either, and I don't even watch him.
All these bitches are my sons, but they're adopted, boo. Okay, so I don't. Yeah, it's not something you got to listen to. It's not encrypted, honey. You know, I don't cloak my feelings, honey. So I damn sure don't like the bitch.
None of us are trying to actually help him. Right. We're just stating a fact that if he actually changed his behavior, maybe he wouldn't be out here drinking out of Solo cups, crashing out on the goddamn internet every other night.
Well, I also want to say to Bernice Latrice, what they don't realize is that Wendy Wiggins represents a lot of people we all know. So it's like, this is a discussion. Even though he has the spotlight, he's somebody we all encounter. So that's where what this platform is about. You know, these are the spectacle, and we talk about it. So it's like, do we really care about Wendy Wiggins? No, because we don't know him, but we care about the conversation because it's relatable and we could all pull something from it.
Yes, like it's not our fault that he's a case study, and we're going to study.
Right, that's it. Thank you. I love it. Case study. That's it.
A full case study and needs to be studied by medical professionals.
Right.
And that's what I have noticed too. I don't know about y'all, but I have noticed that, you know, and this don't go for everybody over there because I got conscious crew members who are also a part of the Wiggins crew, but with the exception to them, the rest of his fan base are just as idiotic as him. They're just as moronic and like low vibrational. And I thought maybe it was me at first that observed that, but when Fox Soul when he first got hired on the Fox Soul and then everything went down with the roast, I was in other influencers watching their commentary in a review, and the Fox Soulers would be like under those posts saying, girl, we stopped even engaging in the chat because when his audience merged with the Fox Soul audience, ghettoed up the place and made it so fun. They made being in the chat so unfun. They were so immature and low vibrational, just like him. So a lot of them stopped even like participating in the live chat when the show would be live at 8.
Well, it's like
how much they were stanking up the place.
Yeah. Well, the content creator, whether people want to realize this or admit to it or not, it tracks who they are. So it's like there's been content creators I generally like them, but then their chat is so gutter snipe that I'm like, well, this is your chat is a reflection of you. I hate to tell you, but not hate to tell you, because you set the boundaries of what you're going to tolerate. So when you're gutter snipe, your chat's going to be gutter snipe, and I've even seen it totally go off the rails when you have no boundaries. The creator has no boundaries, and you know, you end up getting your channel snatched because people are completely unhinged. So it's like I left there too because it was him that was the problem. But you know, if he's the problem, his chat gonna be a problem. They're synonymous. They go hand in hand. If you're trash, your chat's gonna be trash. If you're spiritual and uplifting, that's the people you attract. So let's keep it a buck. And yeah, there's no surprise. I didn't want to see his face either because he was going to attract, but I started getting off TGIF a long time ago. It was losing.
This is what Fox gets for doing a DEI hire.
You're not right for that one, Conscious.
No, you're wrong. You all shades of wrong.
Moving
along.
But one thing to add on there for the citizens of Bikini Bottom that might be, you know, lurking in our chat right now, like they were lurking in Funky's chat earlier and the night before. Sweetie, what we gotta say about that man ain't gonna change your viewership of him. You still gonna go over there and view him anyway. So why don't you go give him the view and the money that he obviously desperately needs, and leave us to our opinions, okay?
And I want to respond to Carolyn Jones. I'm trying to make a habit of this, but you did highlight it. Yes, you did highlight it. But since you did, I'm going to respond.
And I just said, with the exception of my conscious crew members who also are a Wendy Wiggins fan, I say, because I acknowledge that we also all have a shared.
And we all dip and dive, and a lot of us like to be messy.
Like I clearly said, with the exception. So I ain't talking about my people, because see, my people clear. Right. My people go over there and act the same way that they act over here. They cool, they solid, they grounded. I'm talking about his purely raw ass Wick Voucher fan base that are a pure reflection of what he sees in the mirror.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a difference between dipping and diving. I go to the shady, scummy part sometimes, but I don't hang out there. And eventually I end up unsubscribing because I think it's gross. That's what really happens. Really ends up happening.
I don't even know what content creator I could even describe as that, because, you know, I don't watch people that go that low anymore. Like I was telling you, I don't watch Jason Lee religiously, and I haven't watched him in a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily enjoy when Maddie got to sit there and go in on a bitch. I like to keep it cute and like to keep it fun and light over there. I enjoy Funky for his commentary, for his TV commentary, and you know, and his world commentary. I don't enjoy him when he got to go in and respond to people and go in and because we're not there anymore. It's been a decade of that. We've all grown and matured.
Yes, and yes, Barbara, you're responsible for your own. You're responsible for your own life, and you can be blamed for not evolving and learning your lesson the first time.
Because
that is your fault.
If he's not to blame, then who the hell is?
Yeah, thank you. It's everybody else's fault. That's the problem.
That's what I mean. His fan base is a reflection of his psychology.
Right.
That is a victim mentality. And as long as he continues to be a victim, he will never grow as a person, and he will never.
Seriously, come on now. Come on.
People constantly
he cannot be blamed. What?
The problem end up being very sad and alone.
Exactly. Can I say one thing before we get deep into Funky's video? I was my overall reaction. I was uncomfortable. I wish he hadn't talked so long on it, because it's only stirring up the pot. I hope Wendy Wiggins doesn't respond, because frankly, I'm over it. He did spill a little extra tea that maybe some of us didn't know about. I didn't know about. He did seem affected. He seemed upset. I got that vibe from him. I think there's some conflict internally for him with the situation, and he I caught a hypocritical moment, even though CTV, I know you said he has been, and I maybe yes, maybe no, but this one seemed real obvious to me, and we'll talk about it when he goes past it. But I hope this ends. I don't want to learn anymore. I don't want to know anymore. I don't. Too much.
Ooh, child. Okay, so let's get into it, y'all, because we ain't even made it through this man commentary at all.
I know, and we've been on here a minute.
All right, let's get into it.
You and the subject that is TGIF by both fans, networks, and producers. And I just find it unfortunate that you could not find it somewhere in yourself to hold it together and present yourself slightly better than that with all these people that are watching and that want the tea and that want the salaciousness, and you play right into it and totally exemplify what I said, which was a lack of maturity. And, you know, while I did not mean to hurt your feelings or hurl it as an insult, and I didn't think you take it that way, you know, I further support what I said. It's a complete lack of maturity. Armon, I was very kind and gracious in my words about you and your talent. I actually think fairly highly of what it is that you do. Here is what I know. I don't know the ins and outs of what was going on over there after I left. I don't know what all you are experiencing. I don't. You and a lot of other people are absolutely right. The only information that I am and was receiving was from Al. Claudia and I are not in relationship, and I did not talk to any other producers after I left the show. So there is a world where my perspective on things can be a bit askew. However, coupled with what I experienced while I was there, while it may be one-sided, I highly doubt that it's so one-sided to the point where my assessment of it still was unfair. A hardcore fact, regardless of how the roast came about, there was a roast that took place, and then the show never came back. There was a roast that took place,
okay,
and the show never came back. So it is reasonable for one to conclude that the roast was a contributing factor in the show not coming back. That's an irrefutable fact. There was a roast, and then the show never came back. Unless I'm missing something.
You're not.
I did not watch Armon's video. I got a couple bits and pieces from friends. Me personally, I don't torture myself by sitting back and watching things.
Hold up. Oh, no, y'all playing on my top. I know it ain't damn near 400 people in this chat and only 170 likes. Now, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
That
please.
part, Conscious. All y'all watching this, stop being raggedy and like the video. It's not that hard.
Because y'all really playing on my top, girl. Okay, now I done eased up. I don't put y'all through torture music no more. I don't put y'all through Super Freaky Grandma, the remix, the refined edition. I don't put Aaliyah and R. Kelly's eldest daughter, Legina Gold, on here with the acoustic version of My Page Letter. I'm trying to just let y'all rock, honey. Okay, now it's too many of y'all up in here to not have hit that like button already. Please hit the like. It's free $99. I appreciate it. You know, if you enjoy being here and being able to sound off and disagree and laugh and agree and just get all up into the things, you know, just give me a nasty piece of light, baby, because, you know, we vibing tonight and we vibing together and teamwork make the dream work. So please thumbs up, up, up. But, you know, let me go ahead and cue up this music, girl, just in case I got to come back, because I am going to be checking back in 30 minutes to see where the hell these lights are at. What's going on? Hello, beautiful people.
They're just going in on me. But my friend did send me a clip at the end where Armon was crying and he was saying that nobody knows what he was going through and that he was catching it on all ends or both ends or something to that effect. And I 100% agree with him. And the position that you found yourself in, Armon, was the very position I was trying to prevent you from being in. Hence why I gave you all the information that you needed to navigate that space. See, the unfortunate thing is, you know, you've got one person who has made it their life's mission to be in all the comments, responding to all the blogs, doing all the interviews, the first person to break the news that the show was canceled before the show was even officially canceled. The only person doing all the talking, you notice everybody else is quiet, and thus that's the person driving the narrative. You got swept up in some games that were being played before you entered the scene, and you made the choice to align yourself with the very side, and I'm going to reveal some stuff here. You chose to align yourself with the very person when you were auditioning who went to the execs and said, he does not like women. I feel threatened when working with this person. This person is not a good fit. And whether you know it or not, and despite how you may feel about Al at this point in time, it was Al who stood up for you and said, you know what? I have to draw the line here. It's one thing if you don't want to work with him. That's one thing. It's another thing for you to ruin his name with the whole Fox organization. Okay? Once that was revealed to me, that is when I started working on your behalf in the background. That's when I began texting Joyce, saying, Joyce, y'all would be a doggone fool not to hire Armon. Y'all would be a fool. He's the only one that can do it.
Okay, now I want to put a pause in there right there, and you guys can tell me what y'all think about so far too. I wanted to pause it right there because there's two things I want to touch on so that I don't forget them. What he just said, he contacted Joyce, who's another problematic producer on the damn show along with Justin, and, you know, started advocating for Wiggins. And I'm kind of, I don't know. I wish people, I don't know how to say it.
Double-minded about it?
Huh?
Are you double-minded about it?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not double-minded about it. I feel like this is a part of the bigger issue as it even related to the DEI hire to begin with. Because remember, I told y'all from the beginning when I was reporting on this that Wiggins did not get this position because he's talented. He did not get this position because he was right for the job. He got this position because of his very special relationship to a producer, which was Justin. And he got that position over other people who Claudia felt were more qualified in personality, who were more qualified in range, who were more qualified in chemistry, who were more qualified in intellect, aka me. You know, wow. In place of the choice. Hold on, because I want to finish this. The problem with this is that Fox Soul, and I said it through the first probably 3 live streams I did after he was hired, was no base, no real network that cared, that actually cared. Now, this is the keyword, cared about the strength and the growth of their product, of their service, would ignore the reviews, the concerns of their consumers. Because leading up to the rotating chair and the audition chair, the Fox Solar spent all of their time saying, we want everybody but Wiggins. Bring Dustin. We love Dustin. We love Maddie. We love Flame. What happened to bringing the other YouTubers into the space? They were literally sounding off all the way up to the official announcement of his permanent hire when they finally let it be known on their community wall and on Instagram, because folks were tagging me in these posts. I showed the post in my earlier live streams when I was reporting on this. When they permanently announced him, the Fox Solars were in the comment section like with the what the face on, because they're like, we've been telling y'all who we want, who we're going to support, why we don't want him, and you guys hired him anyway. Why? We've literally been so vocal about it. So then what happened? As a result of this being a DEI hire, as a result of this being a opportunity given because of a buddy pass, because somebody within was able to do somebody a favor on the outside, they lost their viewership because the viewership tanked soon as he got in. They couldn't do the numbers. They were no longer transcending 100,000, 200,000 views. There was an obvious decline. The live stream went down. The viewer retention went down. And this was something that would have been avoided if the network had listened to their actual fan base who meant what they said. So when they hired him, they did a grand exodus like the Israelites from Egypt and started finding their way to the promised land. And that's why if you look at any of the comment sections of other content creators who reviewed like the breakdown and when all that stuff was happening, you see so many Fox Solars saying, yes, I did leave. I left when he came in. I'm still confused to this day why they hired him. And that was because at that time, they didn't know that Wiggins got a buddy pass. That's why their concerns were ignored, which played into the show tanking. So when Funky says he advocated, he shouldn't have. It's like he shouldn't have advocated for Fox to hire Wiggins because he felt he could do the job. He should have advocated for Fox to have listened to their actual consumer base. He should have advocated for them to have listened to what your larger demographic is saying, because I bet you this, if Funky started a new segment on his platform and his supporters were not there for it, and that became visible even in the numbers, his ass would drop it. He would drop the segment because he wouldn't want to lose his base. But that's exactly what happened as a result of the network overlooking their audience, because, you know, he was made the exception just because he had a plug into the job. And it dramatically reflected on the show. It reflected on people not being interested, people not caring anymore. The Fox Solars were so hurt that what they wanted was not taken into consideration, and the person they wanted the least was the person who, you know, took the Oval Office. You know, it reminds me of when Hillary technically won the popular vote and Donald Trump only got it because of the Electoral College. You know, that's the type of dynamic and dichotomy that it reminds me of. So I just wish that Funky would have read the room a little bit more and realized, oh my God, if hiring Wiggins is actually going to do y'all in, no, y'all need to listen to your support base, because there were plenty of other people who the Fox Solars wanted to see do it and who could have did it well. And all that was ignored because he had a relationship to Justin, who was able to bring him in, even against Claudia Jordan's own wishes, the actual host. That was too much. And that was totally unfair to the Fox Solars. It was unfair to Claudia. It was unfair to TGIF. And unbeknownst to everybody else, the literal death of TGIF was set into motion the moment he got into that chair. 3 months is what it would be. 3 months. But what y'all have to say about that?
I think, well, okay, this is what I need some clarification on. Okay, so, and it comes later, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it anyway, because I'm confused. Were there problems? I guess because Funky didn't say who exactly was the problem. He said there wasn't any problems, but then there were problems before Armon got there. Oh, sorry, for 70K. I like that. Before 70K got there. So I'm like, well, what were the problems and who were the problems with? Because he's trying to act like Al wasn't a problem before 70K, which I don't think that's true. I think he's protecting Al. But y'all can tell me what y'all think. But I was like, nah, I don't think everything was fine, and then it wasn't. I think because he said it was a toxic environment beforehand. So it seems like those producers, just like this little dash of housewives, are fucking shit up. It's like the producers are the ones that are supposed to be producing, but I think they are just kind of like some lackeys who really don't know what they're doing. I don't know if it's a production company or I don't know how any of that works, but it seems that Foxhole was very lazy and they capitalized, which is great in the beginning, on the talent of those three people, but then kind of just let it fizzle out and no direction. I think whether it was 70K or not, it was bound to be buried in the ground because of the people behind the camera, not necessarily the people in front of it, but I think they accelerated it.
Yeah, it was a collaborative effort to bring to bring it down, baby, for sure. Everybody had their hand on the steering wheel. Jonathan, like anything that you want to say to, you should listen to your base.
Yes, I have a few thoughts on this. One, all the points you just made were extremely, extremely valid, and honestly, Dineva should have never, vouched for him. I'm actually very surprised that Al even would have wanted him in that space to begin with, given his disdain for him at this point. Maybe that's not how it started off, but that is where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to work with somebody that you can't stand? My other thoughts on it are, from what we have all gathered, part of the reason he got hired is because he was messing with one of the producers and obviously getting backed by Funky and Al on the back end. But then the other part to that puzzle is Foxhole was already divesting itself of the budget for that show before Funky left. And after he left, they continued to divest themselves of the budget, which is why Madison and Flame obviously didn't want to do that. Because Maddie said it out her own mouth. She didn't do it because the coin wasn't right. And she don't go and do shit where the coin's not right. So who else? And didn't you also say, Conscious, part of the reason why you wouldn't have done it is because the pay wasn't in it?
I'm so sorry. I was muted. Yeah. The pay, like I already knew like what the third seat was being offered. It was absolutely absurd and ridiculous. And then the insult to injury, I had already had I had been getting all the intel about how terrible, how toxic, how ratchet the inside of TGIF was. So it was a hell no to me. I chose my peace and my sanity over 70K. I can make on my own and do make on my own anyway.
But I'm just trying, yes, they went against the wishes of their own viewers, which further exacerbated an already bad situation. But who else were they going to get to fill that spot for that little bit amount of money? I don't think Dustin would have done it for that money. I don't think anybody else.
That's exactly why I thought it was perfect, and why I told them from the beginning, y'all need to go with the up and coming YouTubers. It's a lot of YouTubers who would have took that. It's a lot of YouTubers, like instead of media personalities and like stars like Maddie and Flame, like if y'all would have kind of like kept it to just outsourcing for talent within the TikToky YouTube space that it comes from, a lot of yeah.
So you're saying more so like continue to be rotating, but with different up and coming platformers, or just another, or any other up and coming person?
Yeah, like it continued to rotate the chair, not even allowing it to be a permanent thing, like a new host a week, and they could have just outsourced from YouTube because everybody was sounding off. All the foxholders was interested in that. Like, yeah, everybody had their picks, like Bondi, a Blue, Consciouztv, like Spill It Boy, like everybody was sounding off, and
what you're saying.
Because this also could have been a great marketing tool in order to help to compete with what Funky was doing by going on at the same time. Because once that word went out into the YouTube space, so many YouTubers would have been, as a result of trying to be depicted and trying to be seen, they would have been given coverage to the show. They would have been doing reviews for the show. Like, it could have turned into a whole movement, into a whole like another shift. Yeah. It could have been fun.
I see what you're saying. It's much easier to get somebody to do one show for a little bit of coin versus getting somebody to do 5 nights a week
for a set salary. Yeah. Like, people would have, because I think it was at that point it was like $1,000 an episode. So you were gonna make a cute coin even for a day over there.
Yeah. Like
an hour for 1K, like that's more than what a lot of YouTubers make, for an hour on their own channel.
And that's true. And that's where
the would have got from it. It would have been, all of that.
And again, that's where the hypocrisy, in my opinion, plays into it. From how you're viewing it, Armon, obviously, Wiggins took that salary, obviously, because at the end of the day, it was $70K more than what he was making on his own.
It was,
right?
And on top of that, he said, "Yep, facts." And he also said in his commentary, he took it because he thought it came with all these perks. He thought he was going to be on the red carpet. He thought he was going to be sent out on Hollywood missions. He thought he was going to get invited to Diddy parties. He thought he was, it was going to give him access and proximity. So he
I'm over here confused why he thought that. Al did how many red carpets in the 4 years that they were on?
Probably
that
5,
show?
4 maybe.
Okay. So like, were you not paying attention to what the vibe of the show was? Claudia and Al and Funky were hanging out and doing all these things, but they were doing that on their own coin. The company was not paying for those trips.
I think he's expecting,
and neither was the company paying for Al as to be on those red carpet. Al was so thirsty, he would go and outsource for those opportunities.
Exactly, and that's exactly. He's expecting the door to open and all this opportunity to come flying at you, but it's like that's not how it works. The game is slow and methodical, and it's consistent. You got to be consistent. You got to put in your dues. Showing up isn't putting in your dues. There's going to be extra work. He thought, how I see it, I don't know because I'm not in his head, that he's just going to show up and shit going to start falling in his lap, and he was proven very wrong. Maybe after a year or so of consistency, and there's so many things that are involved. And making a show successful and to maintain its success. And they were already in a deficit once Funky left. So that was pushed it back even more. They're going to have to work harder to make it more successful. The dude was there for 3 months. I mean, come on, dude. You expected all of that in 3 months? Where the delusion of it all?
But that goes to show you, in my opinion, just how desperate this man is to really kind of like prove something to his ego by trying to become a Hollywood it boy, because I do believe that he sat there and looked at, okay, Claudia Jordan is on all these shows. She's on College Hill. She's on Deal or No Deal. She's going to be able to be a stepping stool for me. And then Al is on the red carpet. So, I think this is why he clung to Al, who was initially, welcoming him because he had an ulterior motive, obviously, and Wiggins was with the shits because he was like, good, like shit, put me on. You always talking about all these celebrities you cool with and you close with, doing the red carpet thing. Yeah, like let me get up in her. you know, and it was just like, yikes.
You know what? This reminds me of another thing that Funky has talked about for many years, about how people were under the false impression that he was making all this money when he was on VH1 and stuff like that, and he sat here and looked at us and told us straight to our face that Mona Scott only paid him $2,000 to go and do that Love and Hip Hop. So, Mr. Wendy Wiggins, if you are up on your YouTube history like you should be, given that you've been in this game for as many years now as you've been in this game, why on Beyonce's internet would you think a streaming show was going to pay you and give you opportunities that the people who are out here on Zeus and VH1 can't even get?
Now, I'm going to correct you on that. It wasn't just a streaming show.
I don't understand where his mind was and how he was logically making the connection that him being on this show was going. What did he think? Did he think Tubi was going to be calling him and giving him roles?
He did.
But here's the thing: they didn't just call Claudia and give her those roles just because she was doing this show. Claudia has a long established career. It wasn't just these shows that she created on Fox Soul that got Tubi calling her and calling her agent.
Y'all keep talking. I gotta check on something real quick. Keep on talking.
I mean, Shauna, like.
Well, let's not discount Fox Soul, because they aren't just streaming. A lot of people are under that impression that they're not just on YouTube. They were in there were several other markets, so he had the exposure. But he should have been satisfied with the exposure and then put the work in to use that exposure to his advantage. He thought just simply sitting on a platform, all these opportunities are just going to fall in his lap. And I think that's very egotistical of him to do that, because I can't speak for Al. I really don't know what Al was doing before Fox Soul, to be honest with you. He came out of nowhere. But Funky and Claudia have been working for years. And Armon, I'm not, or 70K, I'm not gonna discount what he's been working, but just because you've been working long and hard doesn't mean you're owed anything. Because I watched his early days. He was captivating, and I think he lost his way, maybe because I don't know, he needs a mentor, but I think he's had it. Like him and
at this point, he too doggone old for a mentor. You have
I don't agree with that, because you can always, a mentor could be in anything. Anybody who's experienced life longer than you have or experienced a profession, it can be your mentor and tell you, hey, I would love a mentor to show me how to navigate some things, anything that's a new territory, because it's painful to have to figure out, and that's part of the journey, everything. It's a blessing to have a mentor, and I think he forgets that part. If someone's like, hey, by the way, let me give you a couple shortcuts so you don't have to struggle like I did making these stupid mistakes. Instead of making these stupid mistakes, let me just give you a couple tips to kind of thwart those, so you can even progress even faster or even further, or with a lot less heartache. People stumble when they crawl so you can walk. It's like, and you need to appreciate that, not use it as like somebody's trying to sun you. They're trying to help you out, and how you receive it is all on you.
Well, here's the thing. It's been multiple people at this point that have tried to put him up on game, show him what to do, give him the advice him of how to move and act out in these streets to get to where he wants to be. And like Conscious said, I just think his ego will not allow him to actually take the criticism and actively make the changes that he needs to make. He just thinks that he's just going to get somewhere on the strength of his own No, and while that may be so, that he may get himself somewhere at some point, it is, in my opinion, ultimately going to be his downfall, because he has not learned, that
right. And that's why he's going to keep experiencing these rises and falls, because in general, that's just life. You're going to have disappointments, but you can't respond like it's the worst thing in the world to every disappointment, because you're not going to make it.
Right.
You're not going to make it.
You can't be sitting here going on live every time something doesn't work out for you.
Right. Exactly.
And screaming from the bottom of a red Solo cup saying, it should be me. Why did they do this to me? Yeah. I didn't have no culpability in why I'm here.
Right. Back
again. It's these people. They're the ones that did it to me. They just used me.
Right.
So much.
And you have to take the responsibility for your action, and it's painful and it hurts, but we've all had to do it. That's what leads to growth and change. If you feel like, which at some point in my life, I'm 50, if I can pinpoint those times in my life, probably at 36 years old, I was still saying, well, this isn't my fault because A, B, and C, and D. Well, at some point, A, B, and C were my fault, and D happened. So we're all imperfect human beings, and we all need to understand we are our worth, and worth has nothing to do with any kind of external validation. And once I learned that, this huge brick came, a weight lifted from my soul, because I'm like, I think I read in a book, you are worthy just by your mere existence. And then I was following somebody else, and they echoed that. I used to think, no one's special in this world. We're all just playing a game. No one's special, but that's not true. We're all special, and you have to believe it and understand it, because just for merely existing, you are worthy, period. And learning that changed my outlook on life. And every time I'm like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm starting to go down, I have to kick those thoughts out and say, I am worthy just like the next person. No one is special. No one was born the golden child, not one person. And that I can say, I can stand on a hill and shout it out. That's 100% true. And just because I'm not where I think I should be, I keep reminding myself, and the universe reminds me, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. But you also have to realize that there are certain lessons you need to learn to get past a hurdle. And also there's always going to be another hurdle. That's what I heard from, I didn't watch his whole, I didn't watch any of it actually, of Wiggins, whatever you want to call it, was because it's like, no one's going to feel sorry for you. No one's going to be like, oh my God. Well, I mean, I guess maybe some of his chat or something. I don't know. You're right. It's their fault. In the end, you are solely responsible of the pathway in your life, your reaction to it. You're not solely in control of what happens to you, but you are 100% control of your reaction to it. And that right there is what it's hard to grasp for a lot of people, because it's painful to think my reaction was a demise of a certain situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, or whatever. And sometimes it isn't your fault, the way a situation is, but how you react it is going to be 100% up to you. And throwing a fit will never be the appropriate reaction, and say how you were right and I guess everybody's wrong. I don't know. He played a part, and I was reading at some point somebody said he was a pawn, and he probably was a pawn in that somebody's game. But the fact, once you realize that, and I think he probably did, he was rolling in he wanted to participate and roll in the gutter and be messy. And when you want to be messy with someone or with something or a situation, be prepared to get dirty, because you're going to. That's a fact. You're not going to leave unscathed.
You know, I heard.
Jonathan not gonna like this part. Are we gonna have to tug on Funky Dineva wig? I see, because I just got some intel.
Oh
and
no.
Yeah, he went live on Instagram, and we're gonna play that to him. Listen, I'm gonna have to
tug
him up.
High maintenance. Let me say something to High Maintenance Beauty. I can speak on anything I want to speak on. I know enough about Wendy Wiggins to know that I don't have to watch, because I've seen plenty of his actions and how he reacts to things. So no, I don't have to stop anything. And if you don't want to listen to it, you can go.
Conscious. How did I not get no notification that Dineva went live on
no, it's okay, because we're gonna play it out here, so you ain't gotta worry, baby. I'm keeping notifications up. Shout out to the street committee. Yeah, we're gonna have to get to that. Okay, so before we get back into Funky's commentary, because we got to get into the commentary he done did after that now, I want to remind y'all, when y'all was when I had went to my little potty break, remember y'all was saying, what did Wendy expect, girl? Why was he expecting all this? I want y'all to remember what he said in his initial situation.
I had to sit there and smile. I had no idea that I was fucking being played. But because I know the narrative is Armon always crashes out, I'm sitting there taking it. Then I'm not even getting paid as much. Then I'm not even getting no fucking opportunities.
I'm not getting paid as much, and I'm not getting no opportunities.
And you bitches want to run up here and make it seem like I take the show? Fuck this show.
Okay, so remember, he was, for whatever reason, he just thought that there was going to be, that he was going to be invited to the VMAs, and he was going to perform, at the Oscars, and but it goes to, but see, I think for me, all of this is indicative of his own desperate need to be famous, because he's actually really insecure, and he's trying to make up for that by being famous. And the interesting thing about that is that if he doesn't actually clear up that void, he's going to obtain that fame or that popularity or those opportunities and still be empty, because you can't fix what's wrong on the inside with something on the outside, and it's only going to lead to his ass being another drugged out ass content creator, another drugged out ass D-list celebrity, like they all are, because they keep trying to heal something that requires surgery of the soul, as Beyonce said in Pretty Hurts. It's the soul that needs the surgery. So I really fear for him that he's going to finally permanently blow out those nostrils for good. He's on a track to being strung out like hell with white foam around his mouth, trying to do anything strange for a $5 box at Taco Bell, because he's trying to fix something in his self-esteem and fix something in his ego and fix something in his spirit that's broken, and it's not going to be able to be transmuted through money or through wealth or through sensationalism. And we should know that by now. Look at Britney Spears, look at Michael Jackson, look at Prince, look at Amy Winehouse, look at Amanda Bynes, look at all of these celebrities, look at Aaron Carter, like look at Justin Timberlake right now, look at all these celebrities who keep telling us. Mariah Carey even, had to be institutionalized at one point. Like Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown. Like, if you will not find your soul and your soul salvation through the obtainment of trying to so-called be somebody, you're actually just going to worsen your condition, because you're going to be even more empty once you have done all of that, to see that, oh my God, there's absolutely no substance in any of this shit. And you're really going to experience the contrast of loneliness and shame and guilt and all of the things that are going to corrode away at your consciousness. A lot of people think that I am a Wiggins hater, but if you really be listening to what the fuck I really be saying in my commentary, I really am fighting for this bitch's actual like mental health. I'm really fighting to like wake her up. But because she has an ego problem, and she can't hear it, and she can't appreciate it, no matter how you deliver it to her, whether it's privately or personally. Like, you know, but if you listen to what I'm fucking saying, I'm making these predictions, and that's telling her how to get out of her own fucking way. But it's gonna be up to her to do that. And that's why I consider her a case study, because there's a lot of influencers and up and coming talent that is moving in the wrong direction, who are not clearing up their actual problems and are trying to self-medicate through drugs, trying to self-medicate. Matter of fact, let me show y'all this girl. I'm glad that we're here. It's a lot of shit. Shout out to my boo, the street committee girl, T Goddess on Instagram. Make sure that y'all are following my boo T Goddess on Miss Instagram, girl, because she been sending me all the things of the things. Let me let this play while I find this clip for you guys. I want to continue, and then we're going to get back to Funky's commentary, because we're going to have to tug his wig, snatch his wig all the way up, girl. We'll have to do that.
Fuck that motherfucking show, bitch. Going to jail and doing a little fraud. Oh my! Like, yeah, please, spare me. Yeah, spare the fuck out of me. I'm like so fucking mad, bitch. I'm so mad. I'm so fucking mad. I went through so much bullshit on that motherfucking show. I went through so much shit. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck that show. I'm so fucking mad, and I have to fucking sit there and smile every fucking day. I'm so fucking mad, and motherfuckers love to blame me for every fucking thing. Bitch, I wasn't getting $250,000. Bitch, I wasn't getting all these fucking opportunities. Bitch, I was being dragged on both ends. The fuck? Motherfuckers was trying me left and fucking right, and I have to sit up there and smile every fucking day. I'm so fucking mad. I have to fucking smile every day. I'm so fucking heated. I don't give a fuck about that show. Don't have me fucked up. Bitches always speaking on me, bitch. What's up?
Girl, what's up is what's in the cup, girl. People were saying, girl, he had a ginger ale in the cup. I said, girl, y'all will fall for anything. Why would ginger ale be in the red cup, girl? But I want y'all to hear this, because this goes back, because another Conscious crew member sent me this, girl. Listen to this shit, girl. I was honestly low-key disgusted.
Yep. Going to jail and doing a little fraud.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah, I used to be one of the girls.
Only smokes.
Yeah, I went to jail and everything.
Jesus, we.
Cocaine, fraud, everything. Damn, yes. Identity theft, but I have no secrets.
Oh my.
I have no secrets. Bitch, I've had STDs before. I've done fraud. I've done coke. I have chlamydia before, bitch, and crabs. It was a mess. It was a disaster.
Oh my. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, girl. It's no, like, yeah. I mean, my people know this.
I mean, I'm sure people have had it before.
Bitch, listen, you can't talk about people and have going to jail and doing a little fraud.
Oh my.
Yeah, I used to be one of the girls.
Only smokes.
Yeah, I went to jail and everything.
Jesus, we.
Cocaine, fraud, everything. Damn, yes. Identity theft, but I have no secrets.
Oh my.
I have no secrets. Bitch, I've had STDs before. I've done fraud. I've done coke. I have chlamydia before, bitch, and crabs. It was a mess.
Oh, girl. Girl, I was honestly, girl, my face turned green, girl. I was a green face emoji, girl. I was like, oh, girl, like, girl, you don't have to tell everything, girl. Like, some things, have you ever heard people saying that some things are better left unsaid, bitch? Like,
right.
I don't really need to know that you done had gonorrhea, you done had crabs all in between your asshole, all up in your ball sack, all up in your piss hole, girl. I just don't want them type of crab infected visuals, girl. You done did a little fraud, girl. You done been a schemer and a scammer, bitch. Like, oh, girl.
Conscious.
Ghetto girl, it's giving white refrigerator for me, honey. It's giving white refrigerator, huh?
Oh, the ghetto. Conscious. I wonder if, and I'm sorry, Funky, for you catching this stray right now. Conscious. I wonder if Funky had ever heard about Miss Wiggins having crabs in between his legs and in his butt, and felt some sort of sympathy for him, and that they was kindred spirits. Because if we all been following Funky as long as I think we have all heard the infamous seafood buffet between my legs story time.
Oh, girl, don't make me green face emoji, Jonathan. Do not make me green face emoji. No. The horror. Girl.
But
you know, I'm thinking maybe somebody, I might need to send this to Funky, because I actually wonder if it would make the pendulum swing even further to the left. Like, oh, bitch, you a crackhead hoe? Oh, no, I need to get up in your asshole. I need to give you some tough love, bitch, because I know what the problem is, hoe. Okay, you an old nasty, drugged out ass hooker, bitch. Okay, you need some black mama tough loving. I wonder if it'll make him double even more damn down, because he knows she got some real problems, girl. You don't get no soft love, honey. Soft love is putting you on the curbside. Soft love is getting you crabs all in your eyelashes and shit.
Mm-hmm. And Funky has always said that she done a lot of things, but she ain't never did no fraud, honey.
And here it is, Miss Fraud Girl. Miss Fraud Girl.
Funky said,
I was
when they went to Florida State and got their degree in economics, they didn't teach him nothing about no fraud.
I was shook with the girl. I said, "Bitch, what? Bitch, what?" So now you gotta bring all that into question when he's acting erratic and manic. Just like even in last night's live stream, he was red-eyed. That's why I was like, "Girl, ginger ale don't make your like the veins in your eyes bloodshot red, girl." Girl, it had to be, girl. It was an infused ginger ale. It was a remixed ginger ale. It might have been
ginger ale with codeine.
Yeah, it might have been, foundationally.
It was a ginger ale with some syrup.
But ginger ale with a little bit of spice. Oh, zesty ginger ale. He was drinking an old messy ass ginger ale, girl. That was a messy ginger ale he was drinking, girl.
I did think that was cute when I saw that comment with whoever said he said it was ginger ale. Oh, I just want to pat you on the back.
Right. And right. He drinking ginger ale just like Maddie drinking sweet tea when she was
right. Exactly. Kool-Aid.
Maddie was drinking a Dr. Pepper float tonight on live. But the float part was rum chata. So
and can we dispel this whole myth that no, everybody don't have a pass for one. Well, okay, hold on, no. Technically, everybody has a pass.
Yeah, everybody got a pass.
Everybody's pass is not gross. Everybody's pass is not filled with a criminality and mugshots and STIs. Like I could have, I can have a Christian pass. I can have a conservative pass. I can I don't know why y'all think that everybody pass is like, an episode of the First 48, girl. No, everybody ain't been living on the edge. Everybody ain't been living hanging over the cliff, girl. No, man.
Everybody's out here running insurance scams. I mean, a lot of people did PPE fraud during the pandemic, but not everybody.
Not everybody. It might be one out of 3 Americans who got crabs in their ass, but not everyone.
Right.
1 in 3, bitch. No, ma'am.
2 in 5 people in the United States got, herpes simplex, but not everyone.
Not everybody.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is nobody up here is judging them. We're just the side eye comes from is like, why are you saying all this? That's that kind of conversation.
Relevant information, girl. Like, when was this going to he talking about you can't be in the industry with no secrets, but
yeah.
How was this ever gonna come up?
Or just keep it a small circle. I don't expose. I pick and choose what information I expose to certain people, and that's putting that all out there. I think that was probably not a wise.
I'm gonna actually tell you how he fucked up. He actually fucked up by actually I'm gonna let y'all hear it again because I do want y'all to hear it again, girl. It's a gag. It's a key. I want y'all to hear it again. Oh yes. Hold on.
Wait, I have a quick question. Is this from Funky's Instagram? Where's this come from?
This is a clip from his interview on his channel. Somebody had clipped this part of his interview, like with some boy from Living Hip Hop, and he was saying this in the interview.
But you were gonna play Funky's Instagram or no?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play. Yeah, I'm gonna play everything. Yeah, we just it's so much intel coming in, so it's breaking.
No, I get you. I didn't want to be confused where this came from. Okay.
Yeah. So this came from a Wendy Wiggins YouTube page in one of his recent interviews. So this was a soundbite that was extracted. So let's listen one more time.
Yep. Going to jail and doing a little fraud. Oh my! Yeah, I used to be one of the girls. Holy smokes! Yeah, I went to jail and everything. Jeez Louise. Cocaine, fraud, everything. Damn, yeah. Identity theft, but I have no secrets. Oh my! I have no secrets, bitch. I've had STDs before. I've done fraud. I've done coke. I have chlamydia before, bitch, and crabs. It was a mess. It was a disaster. Oh my! Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, girl. It's no like, yeah. I mean, my people know this. I mean,
okay, so somebody said, girl, I haven't heard of crabs since the 80s. You know why you ain't heard about them? Because they all hiding in this bitch's drawers, girl. They all have colonized inside of this girl's panties. That's why y'all ass ain't seen them and y'all ain't heard them, girl, since the 80s, honey, because they done found a home in the old drawers. So I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was really eerie, actually, that he said all this, especially in the wake of his childhood best friend, Official King Pussy, making all of those insidious sexual claims about how he was like a big ass whore during the time that he lived with Official King Pussy, and that he has Wendy Wiggins on surveillance, girl, like bringing all these like ratchet ass niggas from in front of 7-Eleven into his home, cheating on his boyfriend, while his boyfriend was like at the Waffle House trying to make ends meet to get them a place. That Wiggins was popping pussy back, on the air mattress in Official King Pussy's living room. And he brought up how Wiggins was allegedly so like for the streets, girl, and was such a skeezer that she was even like hooking up with dudes who apparently the community knew had very permanent STIs and STDs, and people started pulling receipts on Wiggins when he would be like, yeah, girl, I've had, the house in Virginia scares. I've had those type of scares. So it was interesting when I heard this clip because all of that narrative was coming back into mind. I'm like, okay, well, you basically just admitted, girl, that Official King Pussy told no lies on you. He told no lies on you, girl.
Maybe he was trying to tell his tea before he got sprayed with it. So
but he had already got sprayed, girl. Official King Pussy had been spraying him for a year now. So it's like he told but I just thought it was ironic because it, once again, I'm like, so why are you then mad at Official King Pussy? Because you keep forgetting that you keep telling on yourself. You actually keep indirectly corroborating these narratives, but yet you be wanting to hoop and holler.
That's that dumb shit I can't stand. I can't stand people who tell on themselves and then want to sit here saying another bitch is lying on you. How are they lying if you telling on yourself?
That part.
What the fuck I lie on you if you told on yourself?
That's what I'm saying. Girl, like Terrence Hurst said, all up in the crevices, girl. That's why y'all ain't seen. That's why y'all ain't seen crabs and fleas since the 80s, girl.
Girl, I had a bitch like that. I had a bitch like that once in my life out here.
Girl, I could never.
Being a lady of the night and was mad because I was allegedly going around spreading her business.
Being a lady of the night.
Which I actually wasn't, because I was actually naive enough to be unaware of what her dealings were. It was actually my best friend who clued me in, and she said, girl, you didn't see her whole pictures when we was in her apartment? I was like, no, girl, shit. And then all come to find out she done told all these other girls that that's what she did. And was telling on herself, but was mad, but was over here mad when I wasn't even putting her business out on the street.
Because the people who actually are the most the people who are most secretly shamed about their shit are the most sensitive about the shit that they act like they ain't got no shame about.
Right. So and if you don't want nobody to know your business, stop telling people.
it's some, and see, and this is another thing about it though. What stuck out to me about his whole spiel about having all these STDs and being on drugs and all this shit and being into scamming and scheming, girl. Okay, so now we know why he's so money hungry, girl. A lot of the schemers, girl, they are bloodthirsty for coin, girl. So it's all making sense in terms of his psychological profile. Like, I built a psychological profile on this bitch. Like, everything is now making total sense to me. Like, all the intel
and his
is
loyalty,
bringing the picture to a 4K, to a crispy HDR.
Right.
Visual. But this is the thing though, because when I was saying like he's giving me like potential to be like drugged out, an addict, like found dead in his apartment tease like 7 years from now. Like he's giving me overdose vibes because he's so unhealed in his work.
Right.
Healed through all the superficial shit. And when he already when he admitted all the roads he already done been down, I was like, see, she has the potential to absolutely collapse because she's already lived that life. She's already allowed the lifestyle to bring her to those depths. And because she ain't healed it, she can easily return back to those depths. You know, she's crashing the fuck out. You know?
And didn't he say something about Funky and his nose and all that kind of stuff? I thought that was bizarre.
See,
like,
I never heard the whole rant.
Me neither, but a little clip. He said, like, you know, the go-to calling, you know, Funky a crackhead and blah, blah, blah. He said something about his nose. I'm like, well, that's interesting because the last thing I would do if I'm actively participating in La Cocalina is try to make fun of somebody else with their drug pass. I think that's weird, but you know when you calling out
other addicts is wild to me.
Yeah, when you're scratching, you know, or trying to dig up something to insult somebody, I guess you just pick anything. But I thought that was weird, especially when he's all gassed up, lit up, and flying high as a kite on while he's saying it. Because look at his eyes in this still shot. He looks under the influence.
Absolutely.
And
that ain't what being under the influence of ginger ale look like.
No, it's not. I hate to tell you.
Not even the for real ginger ale. You know, not the fake stuff. Not even the real ginger ale. Don't make it look like that.
And look at his lips, girl, are so shiny. He was foaming at the mouth.
Behavior. No,
side note, somebody said he had a chin implant. Does it look like he had one? I'm just asking.
Ain't no damn telling how much plastic in these holes these days.
Oh, I had one thing I meant to say earlier. Because Wendy Wiggins lives in Atlanta, right? That's where he resides. Am I correct?
No, he's in California. He's in LA.
Oh, he's
in LA.
Oh. Well, no wonder. Girl, you know what? That's why he's so pressed. You know how expensive it is to live in LA. That's why he's pressed because that rent is due.
And not only is it expensive, it's a drug culture in LA. And
he's feeling that pressure to be what he's always wanted to be. Yeah, he need to move away from there.
Right. You know, no longer the YouTube days where you could do YouTube and afford rent in LA. The only people who can afford rent YouTube in LA are far bigger than him.
Yeah.
And they're getting brand deals.
Oh.
That's why all the YouTubers are moving out of California.
Yeah, I think that pressure, and if you ain't strong, I mean, Hollywood, LA has gobbled up a lot of people. And if you can't hang, it's gonna gobble him up too. You know, maybe he needs to just move wherever he came from. I don't know where it's the East Coast. I don't know where he's from, but
I'm kind of surprised he lives. Oh, he moved to LA.
It's been a couple years. I haven't followed him in a while, but I followed him up until he moved. So it's been a couple years at minimum.
He needs to move back wherever he was.
No, I think he's crumbling.
We gotta move forward, y'all.
It's some
intel coming in, y'all.
Get the intel.
Yeah, so
Let's
I want
get
to
into it.
fast forward because some things going on right now. Okay, so it looks like breaking news that the Wiggins and Funky are going to be having a conversation. I don't know whether that's privately or publicly. I'm going to pull up Funky's Instagram and I'm going to show y'all his video, show y'all his recent post. The most recent post over there is this right here. Hold on. All right, is this here? He posted a screenshot of him and Wiggins. When you get to a place where you are settled enough in your spirit, we should talk, says Dineva. Wiggins says, I'm gonna call you. Someone just sent me your video. I'm cracking up. And then his caption is, we finna get to the bottom of it. People are saying in the comment section that the heavenly warned y'all about Al. Somebody else said, I'm sorry, but this is what growth looks like. Somebody says do a part 1 on your channel, then a part 2 on his. Someone says, I'm glad y'all can talk this out. Boom, 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 boom. And then this was the video that came before that. Let's listen to this.
I am sitting in my house and I'm just like reading the comments on my last live and just piecing things together. And I am in this house laughing my behind off because where I am right now mentally definitely feels like that position that Portia was in on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, where her and Phaedra got into it about that stuff with Candy, and Phaedra lied about where the information came from and had Portia up here looking stupid. I was going through the comments, and the overwhelming majority of a lot of the comments are saying that I'm gaslighting Armon and that I'm refusing to call out Al. And I'm like, okay, so many people are saying this. Like something has to be a little off, or there is a piece that's missing that either is not connecting with me or not connecting with y'all. So let me just clear up one thing, and so we can all try to get a little bit of understanding. Everybody is saying Al is a snake, and why don't I call out Al? I am completely being honest here, and it has nothing to do with friendship. It has nothing to do with friendship. Up until the time that I left, there was nothing for me to call Al out on outside of what we've already talked about, which is the text messages, so on and so forth. I'm seeing things in the comments about investigations, Al allegedly talking to HR, trying to get Armon fired. I am here to tell y'all at 11:25 p.m. on August 8th of 2024, I do not know nothing about that, and I did not know nothing about that. A lot of people are saying, you know, I need to watch Armon's video because he posted some receipts. That's all fine and well. I don't indulge in trauma porn. I'm not watching nothing with somebody going off on me. You can tell your mama to do that, okay? But if anybody wants to call me and explain to me what I'm missing, then I am open to hearing it. But as far as you need to call out Al, I don't know what I would be calling him out on at this point because I was not there. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he and I communicated and he kept me abreast of things that were going on at TGIF. And, you know, as with anything, people tell the stories from their side. They do. And it's not hard for me to believe much of what was coming out of his mouth because it was consistent with a lot of what was going on when I was there. But again, call out Al, call out Al. I have no problem calling out anybody who was wrong, including myself. And I have no problem coming back and correcting something if I was wrong. I am operating in this moment off of the information that I have, okay? When I left TGIF, Claudia and I, you know, we were no longer in a relationship, and me and Armon never talked again. Nobody ever called me and said, let me tell you what Al did. Nobody ever said, Al is trying to get me fired. These are all things that I am finding out, and all of that is allegedly. So again, call out Al. I don't know what I'm calling him out on. And it's funny because quiet as it's kept, if I'm being totally honest, it's beginning to look like my ass the same way I said Armon got swept up in some stuff that he didn't know that he was getting swept up in. It's starting to look like my ass done got swept up in some stuff that I don't know. So if somebody want to fill me in, if somebody want to call me and let me know what all the hell going on, please call me, because I don't appreciate sitting up here on the internet looking like Portia when she was looking stupid down to that reunion. And if I'm being totally honest, that's how I feel right now. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. Somebody fill me in.
Okay, I have to give my initial thoughts on this. This is where the tugging on Dineva's wig is going to come from. This is low-key bullshit, because Funky established already in his commentary that we just played, as well as in the Carlos King interview, that even given everything that Wiggins can argue on behalf of why he was in his feelings, he still, as in Funky, stands by the way old boy handled his feelings. Funky, if he's clear, if Funky means what he say, that his feelings, that Wiggins' feelings are justified, considering if Al was doing all the things that Wiggins said he was doing, that still doesn't justify you thinking in your rabbit ass mind that addressing things that should have been held in a private meeting behind the scenes, that should have been handled outside of the cameras, you putting all of that stuff in front of the TV screen for consumers to fodder over with an expectation that somehow was going to support the morale of a panel that was already hanging on by a thin thread, because there was already so much unhealed, so much undealt with drama and tension between all three members. So even with everything you can have a receipt for, or every indictment you can make about Al, etc., I'm still not going to endorse your behavior. It made no sense. It was unprofessional as hell. And I just want Dineva to stand on business. Like, what triggers me with all these girls is that they're so flip-floppy and they don't stand on business. Like, hold your mule now. Don't fold like a pussy. Don't fold like a clitoris now that the pressure is on. And you're now allowing his weak ass audience to do what they do best, which is a attempt to bully your ass into compliance. You said what you said, and it is what it is, and two things can be true at the same time. Al was out of order if he in fact was trying to sabotage that man's job behind the scenes and going down to HR and putting all these false narratives and getting his Karen Jones on, and you're still out of fucking order for going fucking ballistic, thinking that you can break the law just because you were technically disrespected. No, the law don't work that way. And it don't work that way corporately. It don't work that way in terms of decorum. And I don't know how Funky is going to have that conversation. I don't know if he's going to be like, okay, I understand that, and still I feel how I feel, or if he is crumbling before us, girl, and the weight of the bikini bottom fan base, girl, is, that he's going to collapse under the weight. But no pussy popping. Stand on it, because it's people not standing on it that is making this bitch more delusional. It's people low key. It's him being able to act out and throw a damn tantrum and him being able to send his low down ass fan base, to go and harass folk that ends up concluding as this delusional bitch believing that he is correct, and then y'all wonder why he has a consistency in being wrong and a consistency in manifesting the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over again. Funky Dineva, I'm gonna lose all motherfucking respect for you, bitch, if you fold under this pressure. Two things can be true at the same time, bitch, and you can hold that shit together, and you can hear him out and empathize with him and say, absolutely, I was wrong and fucked up, bitch, And you also were out of order in how you handled that, Armon. That was not going to be conducive, girl, when you had to return back to these girls to work with them. I just don't know in what space you think that was going to be productive. What do y'all think?
I think what you're saying makes perfect sense. And I really hope that's how he's going to play it. Because sometimes even I can be unsure in something that I have doubled down on if there is context that I am missing to that situation. Sometimes I can question whether my stance is 100% in the right if I don't have the full context, which is why I generally like to have the full context before I make an assumption about something. However, like you said, and he has said multiple times, two things can be true at the same time. So I hope it's going to be, you know what, Al was dead ass wrong for the way that he was treating Armon. However, you can't go into your job just because you feel like somebody tried you and cut the fuck up and expect them not to fire your ass. You know, we could also, you know, he could also throw out there that you can't do wrong to a motherfucker and tell them how mad to get. But I still would be holding him accountable for the behavior that was immature and that resulted in, you know, all of this crashing and burning. Because here's the thing, he could have been all ignorant like that to Al's face, just not on camera.
Right. That's the part. It reminds me, Jonathan, of when Nene and Portia was at the reunion, and Nene was letting Portia know, you know, you can't fight on the show. Like, you know that you just can't do that, you know, because this one, you know, she was really wilding out. And Portia was like, didn't you choke somebody out? And Nene said,
not on camera.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
seriously.
Like, come on, honey. Okay.
Not on camera, girl.
Yeah, there's a difference.
You gotta be
grown up.
Good shit. Your feelings are justified. You could have felt all you felt. You could have been doing everything you were doing. You could have been going to HR like you had the right to do. You could have been trying to hold team meetings to get something to be done about what's being done. All that was proper and correct. What was incorrect is you doing what you did publicly. Out of order.
Which is, you know,
because you can't tell me that Claudia, who was going through this, you can't tell me that, and I gotta keep saying it, because you can't tell me that a Claudia who's been going through worse than you for longer than you is still able to hold her mule professionally, and you can't. Even she knew better. Even she didn't bring everything she was going through with everything to the forefront, because that's just not what you do.
Right. No, you can't air out private shit going on behind the scenes in public and expect, you know, and personally, I feel like part of Armon, or part of Miss Wiggs' issues, part of his issues are that he wants to be a victim so badly and wants the public sympathy that he puts these things out here for the public when they need to be handled in private.
And Funky, watch that video, bitch, so you can see the receipts of Wiggins exposing himself being with the shits as it relates to teaming up with Al against hold him accountable and say, girl, no, I'm sorry. Like, like, just because Al is wrong, Wiggins don't mean you were not. You were with the shits. You came into this space, you know, shutting this girl out. You was unprofessional toward her for weeks coming into her stuff. Y'all didn't make up until the last like month of TGIF. Like, how? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're trying to, like, it's like you're trying to dog pile onto Al just to deflect from yourself, as if this is a one or the other situation.
Exactly.
No, both of you niggas was out of order. Both of y'all was as fuck. Both of y'all.
Did you watch the CTV? Did you watch the Wiggins his tantrum or no? All of it? You just saw clips?
I was watching other YouTubers who had to clip things together. So I saw like the last half. I didn't see the part like when he was reviewing everything.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I heard like when Claudia had called in, I heard you know his anger and him mad and talking about how, you know, just saying fuck the show and all that. But no, I ain't see the whole thing.
Okay. Okay, so I have another comment, but Funky drops a couple other gems I need to address. So can we go back to it?
Okay, you want to get back to the video?
Yeah, because I got questions.
Okay, so this is back to Funky's original response video 4 hours ago on YouTube, you guys. So let's continue to listen to this.
Then, if you notice, when I posted that post on my Instagram, and I said, Armon did so good, y'all. It's nobody else that can take my spot except Armon. That was all intentional, Armon. That was all intentional. That was me and Al working in the background to get you the job because she was working so hard for you not to get it. The PTSD from me being there, you even told me that she called you and said, don't think because you got a YouTube page and you got a YouTube following that means anything over here. Same one who said you were talking too much, that you need to dial it back, that you needed to fall back.
Wait, pause. Who was he talking about?
So he is talking about how Wiggins was pillow talking with him about all the things that allegedly Claudia was saying to Wiggins. Like, you need to fall back.
Right. Okay.
Following that, it don't mean shit over here, you know, and apparently was trying to get him fighting and all that. But Claudia called in and admitted, you know, because her and Armon already had this conversation, you know, when everything to get back on the right page that, you know, yeah, I was feeling you. I didn't like you. I didn't know you. You know, and then my op at the time, which was Funky, was endorsing you. And then you and Al, even doing the preliminary auditioning phase, was teaming up on me. So I felt like I was being ganged up on the setup, you know, and I didn't want you up in here permanently. If you know, if you was coming in already have picked the side, which he did come in already having picked the side.
So Claudia told Wiggins to you ain't shit, right?
Basically.
Okay. I was just making sure that was
shout out to Claudia.
Right? I mean, whatever. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that's how I heard it. Okay. Continue.
Okay.
Can take what I gave you. You can take it any way you want to take it. Based on the experience that I had there, I felt like I was doing you a service, not a disservice, by disclosing everything that I experienced when I was working there. You know, unfortunately, somehow or another, you were able to get swept up in a game that was much bigger than you. And honestly and truthfully, I felt like I prepped you good enough for you not to have got swept up in that. And I think what I see in you is also what I see in a lot of younger gays, is that they cling to these women thinking that these women gonna take them somewhere. And honestly and truthfully, you got swept up in her game, and collectively, that game caused that show to get canceled.
Okay, pause.
Again, everybody.
Oh, okay. So, does it seem like he is blaming Claudia?
Yeah, of course, he absolutely is. He absolutely is saying, "Look, you teamed up with a queen of the now, and she used your goofy ass in her little twisted TGIF game."
But what's the game? I guess
And this is where I feel like some of his unresolved shit with Claudia is
that's what I'm saying.
So, yeah.
So
it's up in the situation.
I mean, he probably is projecting just a little bit.
Yeah, that seems like 100%. Because I'm like, okay, so he's blaming Claudia for some of the mess. I'm assuming he's wrapping the producers up. They seem problematic anyway, so I'm gonna guess that. But he's absolving Al from everything. He said he didn't see Al do anything, and that's highly suspect to me.
Yeah,
he is in that. He is in that because he might not have known what Al was doing.
No, he knew it, and the reason why I know that he knew it is because all the intel that I got about Al's behavior was long like this way before.
That's what I'm saying.
Got into this.
That's what I'm saying, and fact
I know
that
about particular situations,
right?
And I've seen particular things,
right,
from behind the scenes. I'm talking about like with my own eyes,
right?
I've seen Al acting a fool. And Funky Dineva was definitely a part of the cast at the time that the shenanigans were popping off in the background.
Well, simply, and I see that's why I don't necessarily. I think he is protecting Al, because the fact that apparently Al sent a text, which I think he confirmed. Al sent a text that of him and Claudia talking about Funky or Funky or Claudia saying something about Funky. And you know what? People who do that, I have my good eye on them. People who tell you so and so said some shit about you. I'm like, okay, thank you, but clearly you're with the shits, because I tell people, don't tell me anything anybody says about me, because it's gonna piss me off. Now, if it's someone who's like an intimate partner or my mom or something, even then, don't tell me, because it's not gonna do anything but make me mad. And that makes me think Funky's turning a blind eye to Al, because he knows Al was starting some shit by doing that. He wasn't trying to like, be a good friend,
right? Though, Shauna, about Funky's whole positioning is that it's all over the place, because when he had an opportunity in a Carlos King interview to have a very naked, transparent dialogue, he chose to absolutely not make one disparaging comment about Claudia, and instead actually made some really awful statements about Al, calling him saying he was basically the weakest link on the
that's why
he was inferior toward him and Claudia, like
so
it's just like he is kind of protecting him, but on the other end not. So I just am like, girl, Funky, you not, something ain't given. Like I don't know, it's like it feel like he's one of them people who like he feels different every day about it. Like today he can feel like this, tomorrow he can feel like that, and then the day after that he may feel something different, because it keeps changing. Like the narratives keep kind of just depending on thinking back and forth.
Well, you know, but I say with the Carlos interview, I think that he realized he fucked up, because he's never said anything bad about Al. And I was like, ooh, when I heard it too, when he said Al Secure, which we all know this. There was one particular, I used to be a diehard TGIF watcher. There was a time when they were all talking about get finances, and Claudia was talking about her house and investing and buying houses, flipping, whatever. And Al said, ooh, I need to learn from you and Funky how y'all make your money. And that was my first inkling of I'm like, why is Al not feeling like he's on their level? Because I'm like, why wouldn't you? Weren't you a banker, or you were all these things? And you're saying, ooh, I want money like y'all. I'm thinking they're all pretty much making the same amount of money in general in life. Like, they know how to maneuver and, you know, stocks and bonds and flipping money and all that kind of shit. Of all people, I thought he would know how to move his money around. And it seems like Claudia was probably the most experienced in how to move shit around and make money work for them. And then I noticed Funky was getting on board and learning how, but I was really shocked to learn that Al was like, I saw the envy that day. And I think it persisted.
And this is what Claudia means when she was like, you know, I found out, you know, people were sending pictures of my car.
Yeah, that was
weird. Having, you know,
That's
like
weird.
these jealous-filled conversations about what I got, and it was all this and all that. Like, what the fuck? And she didn't know any of this, you know. She like, you know, like they all met on positive terms. They all met, you know, on their way to a wedding. So everything started off really well. You know, it was nothing there to imply that there would be any of these type of issues amongst the group, amongst the friendship group. So unfortunately, you know, she had to learn as she went with both of them, and I guess vice versa. You know, everybody was learning as the friendships happened. And then
but I learned and that, or I was of my understanding that Claudia and Al were friends before the show, and Funky was the outsider, and then they all became friends once the show started. That Claudia didn't know Funky outside of the show.
Yeah.
Question.
Basically.
But question though, because I believe Claudia has talked about this before on the show. At a certain point, Claudia experienced some bankruptcy, right?
I don't know.
Or some financial,
maybe. I don't know.
She might have.
Or some financial missteps, because I remember her talking about once she got her house in Texas, she had talked about losing another house.
Okay.
Prior to that, I believe. So I'm wondering, because you know, it's no secret also that Al's had money problems in his past as well.
Yes.
He's been broke before, and he's sure finna be broke again now that he living in LA.
Woo, he ain't got 250,000 no more.
Right.
Eyes paying gigs.
I hope he was investing that money right.
And wasn't, because he was borrowing money, according to my sources. Even while making a $250,000 a check, was still borrowing money. He didn't even have his water on sometimes.
Oh, bless his heart. Well, then that makes sense why he was so empty.
I guess you're gonna have to go back to substitute teaching.
Girl.
Back to being a professor at the local community college.
Girl, I hope UCLA is hiring.
Cups of Conversation. A shout out to Cups of Conversation. Amazing content creator. You guys make sure y'all subscribe to Cups of Conversation, who said, I think Funky spoke from his perspective, and Al being his friend. Once he seen Wiggins' video, he realized a conversation should be had, and I'm glad him and Wiggins will talk. I just want Dineva to stand
to keep that energy.
Yeah, do not pussy up, do not cower it down, because you know two things can be true at the same time, Dineva. So I'm gonna need you to be emotionally intelligent and stand on your square, and don't go along to get along, girl. Like, die on your heel if you got to, because that would be in the best interest of Wiggins, who does need to grow up, because it's just the same shit over and over and over. And if any of y'all really care just even a little bit about that nigga, y'all would tell him the truth at the end of the day. And so I hope that he stands on business and say, I respect that. And yes, Al is fucking wrong. I've seen the receipts. He was on his Karen bullshit. You had every right to report his ass to HR. You had every right to galvanize the producers and everybody to, you know, reprimand Al, you know, to correct the shit he was doing. You knew there. I totally understand why you would have been paranoid and frustrated about the future of your employment with somebody in the background, and they got relationship to management and all this shit. So for sure, all of your actions behind the scenes and your feelings are justified. They're justified. However, I still have to stand on my square because, you know, I got my master's degree in economics. You know, I've worked in corporate spaces and banking and as an accountant, and It's not your feelings that's the problem. It's not even you running down to HR about Al, because rightfully so, that's the issue. It's you doing what you did publicly, thinking that it was going to be conducive for a panel that is chemistry driven. And then on top of that, it's you taking no responsibility for coming into a situation playing mean girls and choosing a side when you also could have chose to stay the fuck out of it altogether. And a lot of this would have never happened to begin with had you just not answered the phone for Al once you saw that he was problematic and he was trying to tailor a narrative about Claudia to you. You could have been an adult and said, I don't have anything to do with that, sir. I'm new here. I want to get to know Claudia for myself. I want to get to know you for myself. And I just want to make money and have a great time. I'm not here, to get into all of that. So please, respectfully, I don't want to know about none of that stuff. I don't want to have conversations about another coworker. I just don't want to get involved. I know that it's a lot that's happened prior to me coming in, and I just want to worry about me in this situation. So please, respectfully, don't talk to me about Claudia, and I'm not going to allow Claudia to talk to me about you. I just want to do what I got to do here. It's only an hour. It's only 4 days out of the week. It can't get no easier than this, so I ain't trying to overcomplicate shit. So I want Funky, stand on it. Stand on it, bro. Stand on it. Stand on it. Stand on it. That's it. Just stand on the shit.
You know what? I feel you on that. I do. I mean, it's, what it is. Some people, when they are friends with people for a really long time, there comes this weird thing where it's like when you're young and people act like that, like everybody all just chalks it up to like they're young or whatever. But what sometimes happens is that people who have bad behavior like that and their friends don't check them over it or force them to evolve or grow as a person and hold them to a higher standard. Eventually you were friends with somebody for so long that it turns into that's just them. That's just how they are. Don't pay them no mind. They are who they are. They ain't never gonna change. And I hate to say, at the age that Miss Wig is right now, she's at a turning point. She's either going to need to grow as a person and start holding themselves accountable and wanting to do better.
Yeah.
And be better, or it's a wrap and it's a done deal, because there is a person that is in my social circles that actually recently just died that was very much so like this person.
Yeah.
Like this person that we are speaking on. Mm-hmm. Very much so, had a lot of traumas, had a lot of bad things happen, made them a total.
And in the words of Iyanla, when it comes to those people, if you do not interrupt the process will never come to an end. If you don't direct lines of demarcations and you disrupt these pathologies and patterns, then you also can't expect somebody to get better. If you're going to let them live in their delusion and you're going to yes man them down to the ground, you're going to yes man them to fucking death, then you also can't be shook, you can't be shocked, and you have no reason to be surprised or disappointed when they do what it is they do. So Funky gonna have to make a decision between being disappointed or not, because if you're disappointed, you got to stand on business. If you're gonna yes man him today and yes man him to death, you're gonna have to abolish being disappointed in him, because you're gonna feed into his delusion and you're gonna help him to convince a brain that's already telling him he ain't never doing nothing, he ain't never at fault for nothing, he ain't never got a role for nothing. You're only going to be supporting that delusion. So then don't be surprised and don't be disappointed, and don't criticize him when he acts a goddamn fool, because you support him being a goddamn fool.
Right.
You are being an enabler. So if you're going to be a grandfather to granddaughter, then do that. And you can have both of these truths. I completely agree with you, Wiggins, about Al. You have well proved your point about him. And I also want you to agree with me that how you handled this was inappropriate and how you came into the space was out of order. Can we both give each other, can we both meet each other in the middle? I can agree with you about Al, and you can agree that taking this shit publicly in the form of a roast and you coming in teaming up with Al and being a mean girl to Claudia was all wrong. And you played your role into creating the messiness in a situation that everybody, including you, knew was already tore up from the flow up. Because remember, I gave you the game, right?
Right.
It happened publicly, right? When I left, all that happened publicly, right? You saw it like everybody else saw it, and then I gave you the deets, right? So both agree with each other. Al was out of order. He had no business trying to sabotage you, smiling in your face, running behind your back to HR, trying to get you fired, trying to team up with Claudia to get you fired, etc., spinning false narratives about you, and you had no business bringing the personal shit to the forefront in a roast, and you had no business coming in teaming up with him against Claudia. You should have been neutral and you should have stayed out of it. I don't understand why two things can't be true. Why, but like both of those things can exist at the same time. It's not a one over the other situation. It's not a, oh, okay, I gotta either all the way agree with Wendy or I gotta all the way agree with Al.
No, because people feel like you can't play middleman.
And it's not being middle when the truth is both-handed. The truth be both-handed. It be both-handed. Sometimes it don't be a matter of being in the middle, because true being in the middle is trying not to make a assessment about either or. But when being in the middle is, no, you were right here and they were right here and you were wrong there and they were wrong there. Okay, for instance, right? Rumors and Tea, for an example. Like, she's a mom. She has a son. Let's say one of her sons pushes his brother. Okay, that brother was out of order. The brother then returns and punches his brother in the face and gets him a black eye as a result. Okay, now she as a mom got to sit there. The one who initiated the physicalness can be checked, even if the initiator said, I was just trying to be playful. Okay, cool, that's understandable. You're still wrong because your brother might not have known that, or he might have been in a mood, etc. And he took, your push was a little bit too aggressive. He took it personal. He punched you back. Boom. Okay, that can be true. And then the brother who punched, it can be true that you had a reason to lay your hands back because it was cause and effect. Like, he put his hands on you, you put your hands back on him. And that's why we should keep our hands to ourselves, because you never know what you're going to get when you put your hands on anybody. However, it can also be true that the brother who responded could have responded better. He could have asked the brother, what's up? You really trying to get that work right now? Or are you trying to keep it cool? Which one? Like, it's like every situation is not necessarily black and white. And I think we have enough here that's clear that there's wrong and there's right on all sides. Like, Funky Dineva wouldn't be playing the middle by calling Al out for trying to sabotage Wiggins' job. He also wouldn't be playing the middle by calling Wiggins out for how he played a role in the mess that eventually kicked his ass. You played into the divisiveness. You played into the house that was on fire. You came in not speaking to Claudia, not wanting her there. You was listening to secondhand information, second-party information. You got messy. That's reflected in the text messages that you have of you and Al teaming up, talking about her. Al didn't have a GUN to your head. Al didn't have an AK-47. Al wasn't Thomas Matthew crooksing you. Like, so unless you can produce a screenshot where somebody forcibly made you do something, like, you can be held accountable, boo. Like, you were out of order. But see, the thing about Wiggins, there's a mental issue here. There's such an immaturity issue here that he literally just, struggles to see and take responsibility for his role. And he justifies what he does based upon what somebody else do. well, he was trying to do this. Yeah, bro, but that don't got nothing to do with what you tried to do. Because before he sabotaged you, you was already joining with him to try to sabotage Claudia.
Right.
So what are you talking about? Like, you don't, like, you trying to move around, trying to shuck and jive to be able to stand spotless and have your hands blood free. They're not blood free, bro. And you not being able to say that is why I told you need to grow the fuck up. You need to grow up. You need to grow up. You need to take responsibility. You need to stop acting like you have to act a certain way and you have to do it like this and you got to be like this, because that was the language, right? That was the language all up and through this here. Listen to the shit. Listen to the shit. Listen to the shit.
Spare me. Spare the fuck out of me. I'm like so fucking mad. Bitch, I'm so mad. I'm so fucking mad. I went through so much bullshit on that motherfucking show. I went through so much shit. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck that show.
In 3 months?
I'm so fucking mad. And I have to fucking sit there and smile every fucking day. I'm so fucking mad. And motherfuckers love to blame me for every fucking thing. Bitch, I wasn't getting $250,000. Bitch, I wasn't getting all these fucking opportunities. Bitch, I was being dragged on both ends. The fuck? Motherfuckers was trying me left and fucking right. And I had to sit up there and smile every fucking day. I'm so fucking mad.
And that's the part that was triggering me is I had no. Because see, we got to put it into a bigger context here, right? Outside and before TeaGIF happened, this was Mr. Boss Bitch. This was I'm better than all these girls. This is there's me and there's the rest of these content creators. I have never seen Wiggins do anything for any other creator on this space. He's never helped somebody else reach their $1,000. I mean, their 1,000 subscriber goal. He's never cross promoted outside of a person being up his ass and kissing his ass. And even when they're doing that, he may share you out one time. He's not a friendly, he's not a welcoming, he's not an approachable content creator, and he goes out of his way, just like Nicki Minaj does, to pedestalize himself and invalidate everybody else who's in his sphere. Like, there's me and all the rest of you hoes are my son. So it's interesting to me that Mr. Boss Bitch, let him tell it, Mr. Fab, Mr. I'm all pulled together and I'm nothing like the rest of these girls and I'm struggle free and I'm top notch, was in a situation where he had to smile. No, Mr. Boss Bitch, you should have did what a real boss bitch did, which was what Quincy Latham Lee Funky Dineva did, which was walk since you was so bossed up, which was choose yourself since you were so bossed up, because you can hold your own because you're that much of a boss. And you don't have to sit here for a measly, raggedy $70,000 as because you are that bitch and you got it. Okay, but see, the reality all came out. You ain't got it. You needed that $70,000 just like everybody else needed their goddamn $70,000 a year. Just like everybody else need their goddamn check in order to put food on the table and a roof over their goddamn head. He really just exposed himself as being the fraud that he admitted in his recent interview to doing, girl. That's not a back in the day Wiggins. That's also a current Wiggins, a fraud. You're putting on an image like the rest of them fake LA assholes do. And you needed your coin, girl, and you fucking blew it. And you put up with all this sabotage and all this heat and all this drama for a measly $7,000. But I've heard this girl go on rants about how much she makes, girl, and that she makes big on her YouTube channel. Well, none of that translated. None of that came through the veil, girl, when it came to this whole TeaGIF situation. I'm like, what? The boss bitch couldn't walk away? What? Mr. Paid? Mr. I'm a very rich bitch cashing Donald Trump checks couldn't, go and just choose himself and say, fuck y'all, girl. Y'all can have this, girl. Give this seat to another girl because, baby, I'm used to working for myself and I can totally take care of myself. I have a lucrative brand, girl. I don't need this. I don't have to settle for this if this is what all comes with $70,000, because I can make this on my channel without half the headache, girl, without having to run to HR, without having to deal with no weird ass and co-workers. I ain't got to deal with all this, but he had to deal with it because the reality is that rich bitch shit ain't his actual fucking reality. And it was the continuous language of I had to. No, you didn't. Claudia been going through this shit for 4 years, and she done been dragged through the mud and going through all this background shit for years to your 3 fucking months. And if she was able to you, if she was able to sit there and do her job 4 days out of the goddamn week, if she knew to take it easy on our ass when it came to his birthday roast with all the things she could have said, but she knew with common sense that to do those things will only inflame a situation that was already fucked up, then how much more should the boss bitch should have also had some damn common sense, knowing that, look, you can feel how you feel, but once again, girl, you need to separate your feelings from your professional service. And all of us know that we could not go sit up in AT&T, go sit up in T-Mobile, go sit up in a bank with coworkers we don't like and call ourselves cussing these hoes out on the job, on the clock, letting it be half and expecting to have a damn job after doing so. All of us know who's ever had a fucking corporate, regular, layman person's job, girl, know that no matter how you feel, bitch, about your supervisor, how much you feel about your raggedy ass coworkers, how much you feel about your team lead, that you still better be at that cash register, prompt and ready, fixing those fries, taking those orders, making those burgers, waiting on those goddamn tables, shanga-langa-langing, and better not have the audacity, girl, to think that you're gonna be fighting the bitch up in here. Better not have the audacity, girl, to think that you're going to be acting ghetto with a bitch just because of her attitude and her slick bullshit and the shit she's trying to do in the background. You better learn how to fight her ass in the background too, bitch, because when we're on the floor, we're on the floor. So I don't know why there should be anybody who don't understand that and making excuses for her. And then be the same ones who will be here like, oh, he always do this to himself. You know why? Because y'all feed his delusion. You don't hold him to the fire. Right. You don't hold his ass to the fucking cross. And then when he fucks up again, when he fucks up his relationship to Cardi, and fucks up his relationship to Nikki, and fucks his relationship up to another mentor, and fucks the situation up to TGIF, then it's, oh my God, yeah, oh my God, because you don't hold the bitch accountable.
Right.
So it shouldn't be no oh my Godding.
So I want to add this response. This is definitely an overreaction, and I'm sure it's because he's under the influence of something, because that intensifies your emotion. It seems like he's mad at himself, but he's responding like he was harassed and bullied at work, and they flattened his tire, and they put a dead chicken in his car, and they turned all the water off and the lights off, and made him work, and like that it's so cringy when he's like, and I had to. What were these people doing to you that you just had to put on a smile each day? Were you being harassed? Like, I'm like, this reaction is unsettling.
And if he was being harassed and you had already flew down there to HR and already found your complaint accordingly, then you had already did what you were supposed to do. And now it's a matter of just waiting on them to do what they do. And then until they make a move, you now play your position and don't let a bitch fuck you up out of your spot.
Yeah.
You need your $70,000.
And I have a question. I've watched the roast, but I don't remember because I didn't think not one part of it was funny. But did he say something about Star Jones or no?
Yeah, he said in the opening line of the roast, girl, like, you know, we're not supposed to say the name of your ex-wife.
Yeah.
Because it's in our contract and I speak about her, girl. And that's another thing. The people's like, okay, so then why would you?
Right. If they told you they don't need to read the roast, but don't mention Star, and then you mention Star, and the roast is trash.
And then wonder why they were sending like Star Jones legal teams was sending cease and desist and shit to Fox. Like,
girl, sending cease and desist to Fox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like how if in your job application you signed the NDA to not speak about this woman, say her name in front of Al, that was in your contract, and you acknowledge that in the roles. Why the fuck would you break the NDA then? Like, it just goes to show you how much of a liability this girl was, between the emotional instability in terms of the intellectual impairment. Like, the bitch really just proved that she is a liability. She is a total full liability. Like, you won't even respect the known boundaries. Like, and that's what initially pissed Funky off. It's like, girl, I gave you the black and white, just like Fox gave him the black and white about that NDA regarding Star Jones, girl. And no matter how, like, it doesn't matter what's done for you, how much is simplified for you, you refuse to get it because you're that narcissistic and that insistent upon doing things your way, even when it costs other people. And now Claudia also got to miss out on the rest of her time with TGIF. She never even got to complete, you know, her vision for TGIF. Al is out of a job as well. And I think the whole thing behind what Funky was trying to communicate is once again, everything that he's saying about Al can be true. But the reality is, even as messy as Al is, Al knew to tighten that shit up in front of the screen. He knew how to tighten that shit up when the lights came on. He might have been a full-ass diva and a full-ass Karen when the lights went off. But just like Claudia, he too knew how to pull it together, at least for the sake of the show. You did not. You disregarded your NDA live. You brought up all this interpersonal shit in an already fucked up situation amongst the cast live. You were the only person who could not read the room and who chose not to have the level of professional decorum that your peers had. And that's where you could have learned something from them at. It's professional decorum.
I have one question. So a lot of people in the comments are saying that Claudia didn't even know that they were not supposed to speak about stuff.
And that's why I said in Wiggins' contract, I don't know what was in anybody else's contract, but he acknowledged in his contract, because maybe by
he had an NDA when
this is the thing. After Lunel had came up there and had roasted Al down to the ground about Star Jones. It's possible that after that, Fox started making some provisions in the contracts of the guests and those who were coming in. And
that could be very true.
And he would have been a part of the crew that came after all of that. So it could have been in his contract.
Well, because I was gonna say I'm a little confused on that, because Funky used to tease Al about that, like, you know, maybe once a week, but he never said her name. He never directly said her name. He always used to say, well, you know, Al, they said you took that lady money. You know, I guess that the real issue probably was calling her by name. And
well, it's also a matter of having it to catch it, which is why you can't be risky, because she might not have caught any of those instances. None of those, like any of those other prior instances, may not have even made it to her front desk. But because the Lunel situation was such a focused, fixated conversation and segment between Al and herself, that's what landed on Star Jones' desk. And that's why she went to bombs over Baghdad.
Child, I'm gagged.
Okay.
I mean, they always did use. So
either way, the point is he acknowledged something he wasn't supposed to do, regardless of the ins, the outs, the nuances. He acknowledged that there was something in his contract that he was not supposed to do, and yet did it any damn way, and then went on to dogpile about all this personal shit.
Yeah.
Again, in the words of Dineva, in what fucking world? Like, I'm just as intellectually perplexed as Dineva is. In what fucking world? In what fucking world? It literally, this is inexcusable. It's not even debatable. What in what fucking world are you living in?
Anywho, can we listen to the rest of Funky?
Okay.
He wants me to speak on Al and condemn Al and all these different things. Listen, I am pretty sure that there is enough blame to go around. The stuff that is being said about Al, simply, I was not there, okay? I wasn't there. I was not there. So whatever it is he's talking about between the time that he was there, I don't know anything of that. When I was there, Al by himself was not the problem, all right? There was enough blame to be spread amongst everybody, if we're being honest. But when I was there, Al by himself was not the problem. Again, what transpired between January and that time that show got canceled with Al, I do not know, so I cannot speak on it. But I just find it unfortunate that even in me giving you some, what I felt to be constructive criticism, Armon, that you still found a way to uphold the very thing that I said what was holding you back. I hate that you went out like that. I really do. Because at the end of the day, while you were upset and you have the right to be upset, and you endured your own set of whatever you endured, and I give you credit, you did walk into the middle of a SHIT storm armed with enough information. I honestly wish you would have just remained neutral and stayed out of it. That really would have been the best course of action.
When the classic flavors of bacon, lettuce,
and y'all pay them too by thumbing up, honey. If you're enjoying yourself, $Consciouztv at Cash App, PayPal.me at Consciouztv. All right.
I wish he would have just said what he's talking about, because it's so. Is it the producer? Like, stayed out of what? What are you talking about?
It was clear. He's saying you could have came into this space to do your job and went home. You didn't have to entertain Al about Claudia, and you didn't have to entertain Claudia about Al. Had you stayed out of it, the roast would have never even happened. The events that created this Final Destination sequence would have never been put into motion. It was put into motion because you came in joining ranks with Al to try to get Claudia ass fired, which was reflected in the text messages. You came in instead of being neutral, instead of just avoiding everybody because you knew the house was on fire. You knew it was fucked up over there. You could have just did your job and went home. I gave you the play-by-play so that you could see there was going to be no way to win other than you just staying out of everything. Because everything is messy. Everything is fucked up.
Mm-hmm. So
that way he was like, you could have stayed out of it. He's saying the same thing I said, because Wiggins is making the argument. I had to, and it's like, no, you didn't have to anything.
Mm-hmm.
That you realized that Al was trying to pitch you against Claudia. You could have told him to not call you ever again about no stupid shit like this.
I wish he would have said, he told him to stay out of Al and Claudia's business instead of saying what was going on over there, because that make any sense, because it doesn't make it. What's going on over there, you're saying, doesn't include Al. Then what was going on over there? You know, it's like that's where the hypocrisy, or you're lying, or you're protecting Al come from.
He said it to Al. I mean, he said it to Carlos. You know that. It was fucked up over there. It was stressful over there. It was a mess over there. Like, there was never a normal day over there. And when I need examples. Wiggins was going in. He gave him the play-by-play on how to avoid all the fires that Wiggins walked directly into, and now mad that he got third-degree burns on his ass because he could not take heed.
Yeah.
He said, look, even with everything that I didn't tell you about Al, everything I gave to you still gave you the end conclusion of stay the fuck out of it, make your money, and do you. Do you. But maybe he could have clarified better, but I totally understood like where he was coming from.
Because you came into the situation in the middle of the story, and there was 2 years and a half, almost 3 years of story that happened before you got there. And that's what I was trying to give you, Armon. And the very thing that I was trying to prevent by giving you the information is the very thing that you fell victim to. And I still think, based on your response, you don't even see how you got played in all of this. I can't even be mad with you because you are a victim. I have to give you that. You are legitimate.
He can't even say that because, see, this is where Funky is contradicting himself. You can't say all in the same dick sucker that I gave you the play-by-play so that you didn't do what you did that now got your ass at the ER, and then say you are the victim. Those are literally two congruent. Those are two contradictory.
You're not the victim.
statements.
If you walked into a situation willingly, you're not the victim.
Right. Like if I put a sign in the front yard and said,
don't go in there.
If I put a sign in front of the yard that said, beware of dogs.
Right.
And then you read the sign and walked past and got made by the dogs, you're not a victim.
You're not the victim.
The hell? Like it's
True that.
I don't understand why. I don't understand how this happens to anybody. I don't understand how this happened to Wiggins. I don't understand how this happened to Funk. I don't know why it's so hard for people to maintain a single threaded thought. That's weird. That's so weird to me that people cannot like hold together a cohesive train of thought. I did not think it was this difficult to keep it all together. Everybody like wisdom and intellect just falls apart. It's weird because if you are really thinking about what you're thinking about, it doesn't get all jumbled and two-faced it like this, and like it's not double-minded like this.
Well, I think it becomes when you know the full story, but you're not at liberty to divulge the full story, it gets a little choppy because he could be talking about one instance. You were the victim. You're victim of. You're being a pawn between these two people. You're the victim.
You're not a victim, though. Remember, Shauna, how can you be victim? Because I told you to stay out of it.
Right. But
these people, you wouldn't have never been a pawn of nobody.
Right.
Taking everything I told, even if I forfeited telling you the negative shit about Al. I told you ultimately to stay the fuck away from everybody, to just do your job, and take your ass home because the shit was towed up from the flow up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I concur. I don't know where the mix up is. I feel like sometimes maybe he's talking about two different situations. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. No, but I get it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
He's on the square, but he's shaky. So he ain't fully just okay. Think of like this is literally the definition of the word repentance is metanoia, and it means to think about what you're thinking about. Think about what you're actually thinking about. Like I can actually take my own thoughts and then evaluate what I'm thinking, like, and look over it, like give an overview of my own thoughts and kind of like proofread it over to myself and make sure that everything is falling into place. I realize that some people don't make it to that level. They only get to their thinking, but they don't reassess it after they have decided, okay, this is what I'm thinking about this. They don't just do an oversweep and just go back over it one more time to make sure that when they play it back to themselves, that it makes sense. Because they don't do that, they end up having all these grammatical errors in their logic. Because they don't go the extra mile after they've come to a conclusion to, okay, reevaluate it, read it over, assess it, fine, check it, spell check it, and now if it still sounds like it flows, it sounds like everything is moving and together how it should, now you execute. Most people don't do that. They just, okay, I got a thought and I came to a conclusion, and then they just shoot that out without proofreading it. I realize what happens to people, and that's what's happening to Funky. That's why
I wonder if he thinks he truly thinks he's a victim of something. We just don't know what.
No, because Funky already said, because he, okay, hold on, because he gonna say it here. He gonna say it in this, in the thing too.
A victim in this situation. You got played in one of the worst ways. You did. And unfortunately, in getting swept up in a game that you did not understand, I guess the fair thing to say is that all three of y'all collectively got that show canceled. Nevertheless, Armon, as far as I'm concerned, I see you're hurt. I hate that you're hurt. If my words caused you any duress and or stress, I sincerely apologize. That was not my intent. I really was trying to big you up and give you a bit of constructive criticism on the side. You didn't take it that way. But me being just a little older and a bit more mature about it, this is not one of those situations where I'm going to take back what I said, because what I said was said from a place of love, and it was said to only benefit you. And now I'm going to have to actually double down on it, dog. There is a maturity piece, Armon, that's missing, man. And I'm saying this with so much love. It was missing with that rant, and it was missing with your response to me. Yeah, you got one off. You got one off. You did. You read me for filth. Yada, yada. You feel good? I hope you do. But you're not going to get nothing for it. That's the thing. And like, people are watching. So now he's volatile. He's going to be uneasy to work with. Whenever we hire him, he's going to go off of the deep end. And that's why I'm extending grace, compassion, empathy, and sympathy for you. Like, dog, you got to step that maturity piece up, Armon.
You would think that people who make a living doing this shit would have thicker skin like Dennis. I think that's the other embarrassing point of focus here, is that this bitch literally makes a living talking shit. Literally makes a living, a proud living. I talk about Wiggins, that it makes a proud living talking hella shit on Twitter, talking hella shit on YouTube. They're talking hella shit, talking hella unwarranted, unsolicited shit about whoever he decides he's gonna be talking shit about, and yet is about to be on the goddamn suicide watch list because another commentator commentated about his public junkie stunts. Something is wrong with the Wiggins girl. You know, it's given very much so. If you can't take the heat, then stay the fuck out the kitchen, bitch. Like, stay the fuck out the kitchen.
I think the people who attack people who cut to the white meat are the most sensitive people. That's why they're so vicious in their attacks, because they need to gouge you first, so you are dismantled or disabled, so they can't come back at you. They're threatened by you being able, the intensity of your vitriol. And I think that's because Funky was like that. You know, he even, which I love Funky, but I do see some of his things he says is cringe, and I'm like, now Funky or whatever. But I've also seen his growth, and I think he does a lot for the community, and he wants to do better for the community. That's why I continue to follow his channel. But I think he also recognizes being able to see that in yourself is half the battle. Doing something about it is the rest of the battle. And if you can't see it, the fact that your response to what someone thinks of you, especially someone you don't even know, it matters so much to you that you were just it loosens every screw in your body, then that's the point where you need to I need therapy, and I need it several times a week because I've done it. That's exactly what happened to me. Came so unhinged that I was like, that's enough. And I'm watching it as if I'm on outside of my own body, watching myself. And not only am I feeling it, I'm watching me being unhinged. And that's when you're like, that should be the checkpoint, where when you think everybody is against you, when in reality, nobody gives a fuck about you, in real life. No one can affect your life. You have 100% control of your reaction. And if your reaction is to react every time someone does something you don't like, then you are going to be disabled for the rest of your life.
It's so crazy. And the girl already done had a craps and gonorrhea and coke and everything else, girl. This type of I'm not ready to lose my respect for Funky Dineva. I really fucking hope that Funky agrees with Wiggins about Al, especially since he has the receipts to prove that Al was trying to get everybody ass fired over there. But I also hope that he stands on business. If he don't stand on business too, and he don't hold Wiggins ass accountable and say exactly what he said here, is that, even with all that, I hear your pain, etc. I still stand on it that you were out of order and you could have did it better and differently. Like, if he don't also say that and he just let Wiggins just get his way, like, I officially will not respect anybody on the social media space, because it seems like I'm the only bitch who ain't scared of this bitch, and I'm the only bitch who don't falter under pressure. And I don't understand what's so fucking difficult about that. Do you really need people's relationships that bad? Like these are already hoes who don't even talk to each other. These are hoes who already don't even FaceTime. These are hoes who are already don't do tea and crumpets and brunch together. Like I don't understand why people act so fucking desperate to have some type of meaningless access to each other that you will fold on your truth and fold on how the fuck you honestly see it. For what exactly? You sacrificing that over a bitch you ain't even friends with? Like, the fuck out of here. Like, this is weird shit.
I really don't, and I really hope that my intuition, which is generally right, is right in this situation, and that once Dineva has this conversation with Armon, which mind you too, in the original commentary, he also said, if you feel like we need to have a conversation, I'm open to having a conversation with you. I'm not gonna apologize for none of the shit I said, but I can hear you out if that's what you would like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope
because
it's more.
In the Instagram video, he was saying, if there's anybody who want to correct me, like if anybody want to fill me in, call me. So I guess a Wiggins or he had hit up like Wiggins and said, look, if you want to talk, we can talk. But when I saw the Instagram video, I'm like, okay, girl, it looked like he folding like a pussy. It look like I'm scared for something.
I think it's more along the lines
like,
of
he about to go out. It is given. I'm about to go along to get along energy. It's like, okay, girl, I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of your mouth. I'm tired of your attitude, girl. I'm just gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right, girl. I'm sorry. Your feelings was hurt. You're totally justified. I stand corrected, girl. I hope we can be all right. That's what it's starting to give. That's what it's starting to feel like it's about to give.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, it's feeling like he's growing like a weary.
Tell him, look. I just hope he tells him, look, I see where you're coming
him up,
from.
Jonathan. You got jump into Funky's DMs and tell him, girl, be strong.
Girl,
Funky.
I'm about to go jump up under that post. I'm about to go jump up under that
post.
Tell
him, be strong, girl.
Sir, do not backpedal and pussy pop, okay? He could be you know, Al could be wrong here, but that don't fucking negate all the bullshit that Miss Wiggins has been pulling, you know. That don't negate all the stunts,
right?
You know, and tricks, you know, that Miss Wiggins been pulling. And with that, I think it's time for me to take my leave of this lovely commentary.
Yes, God, but not
before the bitch got appointments in the morning that they need to keep.
Yes, God. Okay, and on top, and don't you take your ass foot in the bed until you get up underneath that post.
I will
and leave him some words of wisdom.
Girl, I am typing as we speak.
Okay, good. Good. Well, thank you for being here, boo. It was a joy.
And thank you for inviting me.
Of course. You know, I love you over here anytime, honey. Anytime you want to get into some things, let me know. Because, you know, you the other street committee member who be, you know, keeping me informed of what's going on and what's happening, what the conversations is given. So I appreciate you.
Lord. Okay, then. I will bid you all a good night.
You too.
Bye, Jonathan.
Bye.
Bye, Jonathan.
Are you about to bounce too, Shauna? Are we concluded here tonight?
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Are we? Is he done? Is that the end of his commentary? I think it was. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's the end of his commentary. I think.
Yeah.
Read me for filthy.
Hold on, let me see.
You cannot heed to it, but I promise you, there's no ill intent. I've been there. I remember the way I showed my ass when I went through that Michelle Brown situation. I remember Demetria Lucas calling me, texting me, saying, Funky Dineva, I am in a lot of journalism circles right now, and you need to take that down. This looks very bad. Everybody is talking about you. You look very volatile. I remember my agent calling me saying, what are you doing? I remember the doors that got closed in my face because I behaved that way. Because you are another Black gay man in this space that is being recognized, I was trying to help you. And I won't apologize for that. I was trying to help you. And I'm still trying to help you. Like I said, I'm not mad. You can pick up the phone today, tomorrow, and call me. And I promise you, we can talk about it and go get a drink. Black man, I want you to know, I see your hurt. I'm sorry for anything that I may have contributed to that hurt, but my intentions were pure. And I hope that we can get past this. Because like I said, I don't feel no ways tired about it. I'm not bothered. It didn't move me none. I get it. And I just wish things hadn't been the way it was. With that being said.
Yep. So he said he still stand on it. So we're going to see if that's what he means.
Yeah. He needs to stop talking about it. He shouldn't have come back on Instagram saying, what about Al? Because clearly people, I see it, and I think I'm seeing it right. I don't know. I can be proved wrong. I have no problem with that. But there's a missing link. The story isn't really adding up 100% because he made it clear, even in his live, that Claudia was a problem, but they all contributed. But there's some mystery about Al, but Al never had a problem. But I think it's very confusing. He just needed to let it go. I mean, I think he should talk to Armon and let the chips fall where they may, and not talk about it anymore because it's exhausting. I was getting
everybody asking him to do it live. And
no, that's gross. No, that's now some things, and that's a majority of the problem. Some things need to be hashed out in person and in private, and I don't think he should have responded, but he tonight. But he did in his live, and that's okay. I think it was kind of, for the most part, good, sort of. I don't know. But coming back to Instagram and saying he don't understand why people are blaming Al, I'm like, well, I think you know why people are saying, because if he never said anything about Al on Carlos King interview, then maybe some of this wouldn't come up. I don't know. It's too much. It's like I even feel sick just investing this much time.
He did anything wrong. He did exactly what Wiggins does. He commentated on a public situation, and of course, a situation that not only was public, is a situation that he has intimate ties to because he came out of TGIF, and he once again endorsed Wiggins when Wiggins was hired for the job. So he rightfully so, had a right to speak about his experience of how everything went down, considering that he really, according to him, really tried to help him to not end up in this fucked up, messy ass situation. Right. And for Wiggins to be a content creator himself who specializes and gets paid to talk shit and talk about everything. Right. He should not have been so butthurt over criticism. The criticism had to do with professionalism, which most people agree with. Like, most people agree that, there's HR and provisions in place to handle those things, and that roast was inappropriate, and it wasn't going to be conducive to the cast. It wasn't going to be conducive to team camaraderie, and Wiggins throwing a tantrum about it is just indicative of that immaturity and that lack of emotional intelligence that Funky is talking about. So really, Funky speaking about it just really exposed the truth.
Well, I mean, he had the right to be like, see, this is what I was talking about, because that was my first thought.
That's what he said. And he said that. He said, you proving my point.
Yeah, which is really embarrassing. But I think Wiggins is just that live was just like that. It's like damn. Like Panga said, it's like I think he's really kicking himself.
That Wiggins honestly thinks he's perfect, and that's why he takes a criticism so negatively, because it disrupts his image of himself.
Right, but I would say on the contrary, I think when you were so fragile and you're so dependent on what others think of you, that anything somebody says about you shatters the mold. I don't think he thinks he's that good. That's why
or fragility.
He's so fragile. Like, why would
fragile as a toxic ass man who is hiding behind an ego because he's truly incompetent and fear-based and trauma like the rest of them.
Yeah. I think he knew we fucked up, and that's
he's thinking ahead because he's one of those hoes who believe that like a bitch like getting over in his lane without or taking his parking spot should like result in stabbing him 118 times.
Right. Like exactly. I think he knew he fucked up. And then Funky bringing that up, another person. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, nobody's really talking about it anymore. And then Funky comes up on Carlos and cuts, peels that scab right off. And so he just flies off the handle because he knows he was a pretty big part of that show being canceled. And that's a heavy burden to feel that, just like Funky said, after the roast, there was no more show. So clearly the roast, that was funny. That was funny. I mean, you can't put it any more black and white than that. And
there was a roast, and then there was no.
And then there was no show. I mean,
there was no show.
Yes.
You only got to know basic math to put one and one together and get two.
Right. That it
you really got to know how to subtract or divide, only add. To know that 1 + 1 equals.
Right. Yeah. And that was whatever. I mean, as insignificant as Wiggins might think it was enough to tip that old table over and cause that crash, and that was it.
Well, and it caused that crash because he could not stand that somebody was holding him accountable, something that he refuses to do for himself, and he don't want nobody else doing it for him either.
Right.
I'm not holding myself accountable, and I don't want you holding me accountable either. He literally wants to get away with being spotless in this situation, and it really sucks for him because he really he should be embarrassed to be this old and to be this immature. I mean, it's unattractive, it's unbecoming, and it's just honestly also weird to be almost 40 and you literally just do not have the ability to say, yes, I fucked up too. And yes, I shouldn't have came into the situation the way that I did. I shouldn't have. I was given all the information and I knew that especially before coming in, I saw what everybody else saw on top of having personal intel. And if I was really about my coin and really about my business and really trying to make history and trying to do what's in the best interest of my career, then yeah, like I could have stayed to myself. I could have shut my fucking mouth. I could have stayed out of it. I could have entertained Al about the shenanigans, and then me and Claudia would have never had no issues to begin with. We would have been able to talk off the gate with me coming in. I would have been available, you know. It's just coming in, and even if things were awkward because folk didn't want me there, at the end of the day, I'm not here because I'm wanted. I'm here to do a job. So I still could have just did my job and took my ass home, like plenty of people who don't talk to their coworkers, who don't have no relationship with their coworkers outside of work. Like, people don't need to be friends. People don't expect to be besties on the clock. A lot of people work together with people they can't fucking stand, but everybody got a job to do. Like, and you just do your job and you take your motherfucking ass home. Like, at 36, you should be there. You should be there. That should be where you're able to be in your mentality.
I think it's age is important, but it's also the more important fact is that the same lesson has come up over and over and over, no matter what age. If he was 25 and experienced four or I think four, I don't know, astronomical situations where you handle things badly, you think on the fifth time you might do something different. But you know
that you are almost 40 and still not doing that is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing, but it's not something that can't be overcome. You know, it's clearly I don't know. Clearly he I don't think he learned his lesson. It's probably gonna have to be another time again, because the way he reacted was not.
And another one.
And another one. There's gonna be another one down the pipeline.
He even had opportunity to do it differently by the way he responded to Funky. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. He didn't have to respond like that, and that means that this ain't it. This ain't the lesson. So he's gonna have to have one more again.
He could have called him if it would bother him so much, and he was really trying to be on some new energy shit. He could have called Funky and said, "Hey, I would love to do this conversation live. I would love for me to have a live response to your interview in a conversation between you and I. How you feel about that? Because I know it's some things that you don't know, and it's some things that you don't know about Al, and it's some things I want to say to you as well. And I think we can have a productive conversation and an honest conversation together, because I really don't want to do the screaming thing. I don't want to do the back and forth thing. I'm trying to be in my soft girl era. I'm trying to be in my soft bottom energy, you know, so let's do it. So once again, all these options to stay on course. But once again, what did he do for 2 hours in a response video? Blame responding on Carlos King and Funky being backhanded.
Right. But Savvy being said, he have no bridges. Yeah, he has no bridges.
Your choices and your actions and your initiatives to do it differently. You are never able to do it differently if you're dependent on people
to change.
Yeah, to change.
Because that ain't gonna happen.
The whole point.
That will never.
That's the whole point of autonomy.
Right.
It's about your agency
and free will. Somebody mentioned free will.
Behind the will of the God. They got nothing else to do with nobody else.
Right. Things aren't repeatedly being done to you. I promise. Promise you that. That's not how it is. Because this is probably the biggest sign of you need change right now, because it ain't gonna get no better. I mean, if this situation didn't cause ego death, then the next one, it may be. I don't know. I don't want to say anything negative, but it may not be survivable. You know.
Yeah, well, he better get it together then. He better get it all the way
Yeah,
together.
I hope he does. I hope he does. I mean, I did believe in him at some point in time.
We're gonna be here to report on it.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
yes,
that's the way life goes.
That's the way life goes. All right, let me get up out of here, child. I gotta go finish eating my food, but this was great. This was dope.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah,
with the commentary.
And we're gonna be back because we got some Kamala Harris stuff to get into. So
that'll be good.
Notification bell set to all, child.
All right, sounds good. Love ya.
I love you too, boo. That was our Shauna, you guys. Shout out to Shauna. Shout out to John in the building. This was cute, honey. Okay, yes, we were here for 3.5 hours. And if we need to come back to do it for 6, 8, 12, to do it until midnight, baby, or to do it until the goddamn Lionsgate vortex is closed, we will. We will. Okay. Shout out to the 400. Please thumbs up on your way out if you didn't on your way in. Once again, all donation information is in the description box below. Make sure you tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And I will see you guys later today. Happy TGIF. Be safe. Be in peace. Bye.